You guys want to change it to 2?
We're ready. I don't
Reset.
know, Brenda. I'm ready. I don't know, if Brenda is.
I'm ready as well.
Okay. Welcome to the June 11th, 2025 full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 6. My name is Sandy McKee and I am the chair of CB6. This meeting is called to order at 7:04 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by First Vice Chair John Keller, Secretary Justin Goldberg, District Manager Jesus Perez, Assistant District Manager Brendan Berth, and Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty. We observe the following ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Please raise your hand and wait for me to recognize you. Then you can make your motion or comment. Members of the public, if you wish to give remarks during the public session and have not already registered by filling out a form, you can register to speak in this session by filling out the form. This must be done by 7:15 or by using the Q&A feature of Zoom and posting your name, your affiliation, and what specific topic you wish to speak about. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office, was posted online, and appears on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Justin Goldberg will now take attendance by roll call.
We'll now
Turn it on.
We will now take attendance by roll call. Board members, when your name is called, please say present.
Yes.
Tanya Arias.
Present.
Kyle Atay. Tied.
I don't see him.
Neil Barclay.
He's not here.
Martin Barrett. I'm saying. Oh. LV Barroso.
Not present.
Daniel Bernstein. Liz Burr.
Well, there's
I don't
no-
see her. You can see her?
I don't see, no, I see her on Zoom.
The present.
Liz Burr.
Present. I'm right here.
Thank you.
Jim Collins.
Here.
Stuart Desser. Present. Beatrice Disman.
Present.
Maya Donahue. Robert Fairfan. Okay, Robert's not here. Parag Friedman.
Present.
Jason Fromowitz. Eric Goldberg. Justin Goldberg, present. Gloria Hage.
Present.
Rabia Iqbal.
Present.
Paige Judge.
Paige Judge.
I don't see her.
It says disability.
Okay.
Rupal Kakad.
Here.
John Keller.
Present.
Kate Kennedy.
Present.
Nadine Kalani.
Not here.
Katie Landa.
Present.
Sandra Leftoff.
Present.
David Levy.
Present.
Anton Molnar.
Present.
Sandra McKee.
Present.
Alec Militic.
Present.
Richard Mintz.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe.
Not here.
Not here.
Reshma Patel. Reshma. Not here.
Not here.
Stephen Perez. Will Perry. Omer Qureshi.
Not here.
Miriam Rao. Michael Ann Rowe.
Present.
Lauren Shire.
Present from the emergency room at NYU Langone.
Oh, boy.
Goodness. That's commitment there.
Board.
3 hours.
That's.
Usually the emergency room happens after the meeting.
I'm stressed out about,
Okay, Ann Seligman.
Not here.
Not here. Sandra Sherrod.
Not here. There, the rest of the list?
That's it.
There's more.
Mubin, yeah, some few more. Mubin Siddiqui.
Present.
Letty Simon.
Present.
Mark Thompson.
Present.
Gabriel Turzo. Pat Valero. James Vera.
Present.
Jerry Weinstein.
Present.
Sarah Whittington. David Woods. Xia Zhao.
All right, with 32 members duly present, we do have quorum.
The elected officials have sent their reports ahead of time, and you can find them on the CB6 website. They can be found in the chat on Zoom or on the board's website page for full board meetings. I've asked our elected officials to be brief or waive their reports this evening due to the large number of people who have signed up to speak in the public session this evening. But first up, we have Arfan Karim from Bellevue Hospital. He is Bellevue Hospital's Chief Clinical Officer, here to talk us about what's happening at Bellevue. Microphones, I guess, over there. Is it working? Or you can come here.
Come here.
This is,
Thank you for having me, for bunkering the Chief Clinical Operations Officer at New York City Health and Hospitals Bellevue. I am excited to come talk to you about updates about our hospital, which is just across the street or across the thoroughfare that's here. And I wanted to let you know that Bellevue is doing well, and we are here for the community, here for every one of you and everyone in our community to serve it. As you probably already know, Bellevue is the oldest municipal hospital in the country. It actually predates the country. We're celebrating our 289th year, founded in 1736. For that, and as you know, we've been through yellow fever, we've been through the HIV epidemic, we've been through significantly other special pathogens, including Ebola, where we had the only patient who walked out of the building almost 10 years ago now, Dr. Craig Spencer, and most recently COVID-19. We served the community and the city valiantly in trying to protect, and that legacy continues today. Right, Bellevue is here, and Bellevue will be here 300 and more years, right, to serve the community and to make sure that we're the beacon when there's a time of need. Few updates from the last several months, as you might not know, we celebrated Nurses Week. We celebrate all of our wonderful nurses who take care of the patients day in, day out. And that was special because, you know, it's a way to recognize our nurses, it's a way to build a community. And to make sure that the heart of our service is in the wellness factor is taken into effect. We celebrated our children's author who donated or painter that donated works of art. And it to make the space more lively and to make sure that our English patients are taken care of, you know, provided with color, comfort, and joy that they deserve. And then throughout May, we celebrated or we recognized breast cancer awareness month, and we organized a series of mammogram sign-up events throughout Mother's Day. They were designed to encourage staff and community members to prioritize with their health through early detection and preventative measures. You also probably know we're the only level 1 trauma center below 68th Street, right? But whenever there is an emergency or trauma or things that happen, those patients usually come to Bellevue. That included the ship that had an accident, right? Recently, the Mexican consulate. We took care of all patients from that event at Bellevue. Our staff was there for them, and we made sure that everybody's taken care of. Few things that I want to talk about that is important in continuing this legacy and to make sure that we take care of our patients. The first is, as you probably know, there is a bill that passed in Congress that might cut Medicaid dollars significantly, and that will have a significant impact not only Bellevue, but the rest of health and hospitals and safety net system throughout the country. It is something that we're very much observing and worried about because 70% of our patients are Medicaid patients, right? We're here for everyone that comes through the door. We take care of every single patient, irrespective of the ability to pay, and we will continue to do so. But this makes it harder. So we encourage community members to reach out to their electeds, through other community members, build awareness of how important Medicaid and Medicare is to the health system, and how important it is for those services to remain at the current level, if not increase, right? Definitely a cut is not warranted. From a personal level, I can tell you, I'm a first generation immigrant. I grew up in Queens, in Sunnyside, Queens, so across the river. And my family was served by health and hospitals. I went to Elmhurst my whole life, right? My parents still get care there. And you know, at different points, my parents had multiple jobs, they juggled different things, and health and hospitals was there. And Medicaid-like programs is what helped us get through and for me to be successful. So healthcare is a human right. Healthcare is something that's a necessity, and it's an economic engine for everyone, right? It allows people to work, allows for them to be healthy and be productive in the community. And without Medicaid and without health awareness and health availability, it's going to be very difficult. So I encourage everyone to continue to challenge that bill that's out there. There's still time. It only passed one side of Congress. It still needs to go through Senate and everything else. So please definitely ensure that you're doing everything you can to help Bellevue sustain itself, right? And help the hospital sustain itself. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I know everyone's interested in it. So recently in our community, a hospital closed down, right? On Sinai Beth Israel. We at Bellevue, you know, responded swiftly and effectively to the closure of Mount Sinai Beth Israel. We took proactive measures to expand that capacity and safeguard continuity of care for our community. So we made sure we're there. We're just like we've been there. We'll always be there, and we're ready to take care of the patients. You know, it's the timing was helpful in some ways. It's a coincidence that there was a slight change in FDNY ambulance runs, so there was a slight decrease in that week that Mount Sinai Beth Israel closed. And so it allowed us to kind of understand the flow and get ourselves up to speed. But quickly, once that was fixed or changed, the volume returned to more the baseline. We are seeing additional EMS runs. We're also seeing, you know, market increase in walk-in patients as expected, right? Patients are coming for their care. The demand has contributed to higher admission rates, so more people are coming into our acute hospital in the inpatient units. We also see increase in our psychiatric emergency department, right? The CPAP program has seen extra patients come in. So these are things that we are monitoring, because those admissions leads to, you know, more patients in-house. That means we need to make sure that we're doing our part to be efficient, but at the same time, we continue to grow and meet the demands of the community. So we're really working hard at Bellevue and working smart to make sure that we're able to address all needs, right? One example of a need, you know, heart attacks and strokes, we hear about this all the time, right? Particularly when it comes to strokes, time is everything. Every second, every minute counts, as you probably know. So when a patient is brought to our emergency department, we have to act very quickly. And in stroke care, radiology equipment is very important, because you want to know where exactly the stroke is, what's happening, and you want to get that done quickly. So as those events happen, you know, our equipment being up to date is equally important. And so we're encouraging, you know, and advocating for those equipments, right? Making those equipments up to date. Some of our equipments are 20 years old when the life cycle might be 7 to 10 years, right? So they're end of life. We want to replace them with more modern equipment. We want to increase our capacity to do more exams, and we want to be able to treat our patients, right? In the case of a stroke, with using those equipments, these are called single plane and biplane, that they're technical things, but essentially, a physician could go in and take out that clog, right? Like it's like unclogging your drain, right? Take a little bit of plumbing, and that literally leads to our patients walking out the door, right? Somebody who might be incapacitated will not be because of these tools. So we are definitely encouraging our elected as well as the community to advocate for those end-of-life equipments to be fulfilled so that we could continue to treat our patients. And then we're continually working in our ED and other areas, within the budget that we have, with the agreement we have with Mount Sinai to make sure that we're using our public dollars, effectively, right, and prudently. We'll increase our CT capacity in the ED. We're also, working on, making sure the flow, is adequate and is going through. That's essentially my update for Bellevue, and happy to take questions if.
We're really hoping we don't have any questions this evening. We do have a health committee that I'm happy to have people attend. It meets tomorrow night. But thank you very much. We really want to know what's happening in our community.
And please come to Bellevue, come visit us. We have a wonderful campus. You don't have to just come for medical care. You go to come in, we have lots of architecture, it's an old building, but you know, you never know, if you have to go there, so just, come give us a chance to take a look, and then, if you ever need medical care, I promise you, we're gonna give you top-notch care. Yeah.
I would just have to say thank you for the immunizations. I really appreciate it.
And those are really important. Preventive care is the #1 way of not going to Bellevue for emergency care, right? So very important. That's another thing to advocate for in these times where, you know, that's under attack. But we're here and we'll always be here. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So next up, we have Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. He's on Zoom this evening.
Yeah, Sandy, here I am on Zoom. We're still in Albany, so you know we have about 5 days left in the legislative session. So, but I wanted to just quickly. I know you guys got a long meeting. In my monthly report, we spent a lot of time talking about the budget that we passed last month. Even though it was late, we did pass. There's a lot of good things in that. You know, talking about funding issues we care about, things that we were fighting for, like the Housing Access Voucher Program, which is basically a state-based Section 8 program. Talking about money for abortion training, get more doctors trained, you know, a lot of things about funding, a lot of money for public safety and mental health, trying to create a new 911 system across the state like Rochester has, what's called Daniel's Law, really trying to talk about the issues that are affecting all of us in New York City around public safety, mental health, and affordable housing. Not to mention we did around arts and cultures, environmental money, and a lot of money going back to individuals in New York. A lot of bills that people at some other time want to talk to me about legislation that we're doing a lot. We have a shredding event with Senator Gonzalez and I, July 1, if people want to shred. We just had one last week from my district office. We're doing this one in Stuyvesant Park, Neighborhood Associations co-sponsoring it. If you want to come down, obviously everyone needs to shred, including me. It's really important. And just really, if people have things that they want to get done before the legislative session, the Senate's leaving tomorrow. We are here probably till Tuesday. To the last moment, things that we're trying to get done, like reducing waste, extended producer responsibility, talking about the New York Heat Act. They're trying to get some really important environmental bills done, as well as we're doing a whole package on, people know about the death of Robert Brooks, and we're doing a package of bills around criminal justice reform.
I'm attending my community board meeting.
And we hear you, so that's good. Larry, we hear you. So, you know, please do reach out. I know you got a packed meeting. I know Sandy doesn't want anyone to ask any questions, but I'm happy to talk to you, or send me an email. Or if you're really dying to ask me a question, I'm sure Sandy might let you, but if not, you know, I'm available when you want to talk.
Great, thank you. We will take questions after. After, if anybody has them, but thank you very much.
All right, everyone, I'm going back to the legislative session.
Thank you.
Take care, bye-bye.
Next up, we have Peyton Schultheis from Senator Gonzalez's office.
I don't have anything to add to my report. I'll take any questions, but I'll leave that up to you. It was cool.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Wendy Brennan from Senator Krueger's office.
I just wanted to announce that I'm taking over CB6 from Justin, and I know you have a long agenda, and I will come in person the next time and hope to get to meet some of the board members. Thank you. Bye.
Great, thank you. And say
Thank you.
goodbye to Justin for us. He's been great. Next we'll have Braca Rosenberg from BP Levine's office, Borough President Levine.
Hi, I'll just say read my report. Don't want to take up any more time.
Great. We have a question for you from Jason.
Oh, I'll take that.
Thank you. This evening, we're going to be talking about a busway on 34th Street. I understand there was some communication relayed from the Borough President's office about that, about this opinion on the 34th Street busway.
Yeah, I believe there was a letter together with Keith Power's office. So I mean, I would defer to them because they took the lead on that. But we were on board as well in support of the busway.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank you. Okay, Michael Ann, you have a question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the question too about the 34th Street busway. And it's interesting how you queued that up, Jason. Where was there a survey? Do you have a survey to provide for us of community engagement on such a massive project?
I don't have that for you. But I will also defer, perhaps Keith Power's office can speak more to the community engagement piece. Or some of our policy team, I can look back onto that as well.
Yeah, because the community doesn't
Great,
have.
thank you. Okay, next we're going on to, any other questions?
There's no.
Community board.
David Lawrence. David Lawrence, what is your question for the Borough President's office?
Yes, if Ms. Rosenberg can ensure that the Borough President has access to all relevant traffic data concerning that proposal?
Yes, I believe our transportation policy analyst is very on top of all of that.
Okay, because when we had the meeting the other week, DOT did not have that data. So if you could follow up.
I don't know exactly. Yes, I
Thank
would have to defer to the expert in my office, but I will definitely check in with them.
Okay, thank you.
Charlotte Fan, what is your question for the Borough President's office? Charlotte Fan. We will have
Hello, it's Will and Charlotte. Hi. We were just curious as to how the exit from the tunnel would be diverted in the south direction. Overall, I think that I'm also in support of the busway. I mean, I think
And
it looks great at
excuse me,
14.
but
So.
I'm not sure that the Borough President has the answer to that question. It's a
Yeah.
little bit too detailed.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Okay, if there are no other questions, we'll move on to Robin, Robin Forrest from the Mayor's office.
Hi, everybody. I too will be brief. I want to make a quick announcement. The late Congressman Charlie Rangel will be lying in state at City Hall tomorrow between the hours of 9 and 5. There's a viewing available to the public if anybody would like to attend. The funeral service is on Friday at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And with that, I'll talk more next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mackie Bentley, who is here in person from Congressman Nadler's office.
Hi, everyone. So one thing from the board real quick. Congressman Nadler, State Senator Liz Krueger will be holding a town hall next Tuesday, June 17th from 6 to 7:30. It'll be moderated by special guest Maya Wiley. You can RSVP it online. Thank you so much.
I'll be there. And okay. And I believe David Lawrence, is your hand still raised or did you have a question? A new question?
Just for reasons for efficiency, could we just ask every representative of the elected officials, state as well as city, including the representative from the mayor's office, to ensure that they have all relevant traffic data from the Department of Transportation covering this proposal and any analyses and assessment that's been done. And if there's a way to report back to the members of the community board, what studies have been done and that there is data that has actually been assessed and fully assessed independently, I think that would be very helpful. So rather than raise my hand each time, if I can just make that request of every elected city, state official. Thank you.
Certainly, we will make sure we transmit that to them. Okay, After Maki. I'm sorry, Michael Ann, did you have a question for Maki?
Yeah, just real quick, what town hall meeting, what's the town hall meeting about?
On the 17th. Town hall
Yes,
concerns.
there's just a general town hall, will be held at Hunter College. If you have any additional questions, you can call our office and just go with my additional details.
You can register online, Michael.
Yes, you can register online.
So you have a question for Maki?
Is it possible to increase the volume? Yeah.
Oh. The volume of me or the volume of the? Okay.
As loud as it goes.
Okay, hopefully that's better. Yep. Next we have Emma Johnson from Councilmember Power's office.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emma. I am standing in for Pat this evening. He is out on vacation this week. So I know there's a lot of questions about the 34th Street busway. I think I may not be the best person for it, but I am happy to take all of those questions back to the council member and to our chief of staff, Ben, and we can continue talking after the meeting. I'll skip a couple of the other things that I was going to talk about, but I did want to mention that we have a couple of events coming up. I want to make sure everyone's aware of. Number one, they're both on the same day. They're on June 21st. Number one is we're doing an adoption event co-sponsored with the Animal Care Centers of New York. That's going to be in Madison Square Park. That's 11:30 to 4:30. And then the same day, June 21st, we're also going to be doing a shred event, and it's going to be right in your all's neighborhood, right at Sutton Place. So it's in the little cul-de-sac on East 57th Street and Sutton Place. And that's going to be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So again, those are on the same day, June 21st. So I'll skip the rest of the everything else I had in my report, but I'm happy to take questions back to the team about the 34th Street busway, because I know a lot of people have questions about that.
Great. Okay, thank you. Do we have any?
Yes.
Info. Does she have the info?
We get it.
Right, she said that they wrote a letter with Willoughby's office, but ours took the lead, so do they?
And I think the question is from the audience here is, do you have information on the data for the busway?
I don't have data that I can share with you. I think that would be coming from DOT, but I'm happy to bring that back to the rest of the team and see what we can get for you.
What data do you have?
Thank you. I'm sorry, do we have a question here? Please, if you do raise your hand, I can't. And if you could speak quite loudly so we can hear.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Said that they did a letter with Powers
Mhm.
and that they had the data. That's why they did the letter with Powers. How come she's saying she doesn't have the data?
I believe she's saying she's not the person with the data, so
Yeah,
again,
like I mentioned, I think Pat will know a little bit more about this than I do, but I am happy to ask the rest of our team to get some of that data for you. I think, are you asking specifically about a traffic study?
I'm asking about everything to do with the busway. I want to know how many cars come in from each tunnel. I want to know where they go. I want to know how many express buses. I want to know how many.
excuse me, ma'am, please. We understand you'd like full
The
data.
data, right,
Thank you, thank you.
all of it.
All of it, okay. We don't have it right now, so unfortunately.
Wait until it's actually 34th Street busway.
Please,
and before we
yes.
speak about it.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
There's a gentleman back here who still has his hand up.
About that data, Ms. As of last week, you said during this very issue that the data was incomplete and not done yet. And I was wondering if that data has since been completed. And then you couldn't really talk about it because we seem complete.
I don't believe this particular person was at that meeting. No, it's not.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. We understand that you're looking for the data. We will ask for it, and we can move on. Thank you.
A quickie. I have a quickie. I
Go
missed.
ahead, Michael Ann.
Yes, can you hear me? I just want to make sure you can
Yes,
hear.
we can.
Hey, great. I just wanted to check from the last meeting. I didn't catch, how long have you been doing this research or looking for this data? Trying to collect the data?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
So we, I mean, again, this is data that would be coming from DOT, so our office is not conducting a study. So it's not something that I have been updated about, a status of a study or the data that you all are looking for. So I wish I had more to tell you. I don't know the status of it, but I'm happy to ask Ben and Pat, who you all know. Pat is back in the office next week. So I'm happy to bring that to the both of them and see what I can get from them.
And we'd like to move on, please. I see Mr. Lawrence has his hand raised again, but we do acknowledge your question and we will ask for that from all our elected officials. Thank you. So who else do we have who's going to speak? Oh, Spencer Kuhn from Councilmember Rivera's office. It's here in person.
Everyone, good evening. Make it super brief. Just want to highlight one upcoming event that our office has in our report. We have a nice little flyer here too. It's on Saturday, June 21st. It's at 55th Avenue B, which is actually in the lot behind that building. So if you have any confusion planning the event, go to 4th Street and it's in the lot behind 55 Avenue B. It's a family day and job fair. We have a ton of organizations from the city coming to give out resources, identify job opportunities for members of the community. We'll have music, giveaways, food, etc. It should be a very fun event. It's from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, June 21st again, and happy to take any questions.
Great. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we're now moving on to the public session. I'd like to let you know that 78 people have signed up to speak in this session. If everyone speaks for 3 minutes, we will be here for 4 hours. I suggest that we try and amalgamate some of your concerns and that if at all possible, if you see that the person in front of you mentions something that you agree with, you simply say you agree and we can move forward. We're going to do this there are two fairly robust issues that we're going to deal with this evening. The first one is going to be the Gramercy Park Hotel, and we will have those people go first, but really we need to vacate this room at a certain time. So we'd like you to respect all of the speakers and to make this as brief as possible. Okay.
There's actually one speaker tonight that is not speaking on either of the items that you all are here for. So we will let them go first and then move on to Gramercy Hotel. They're the odd man out. Okay, Robert Scott, you are here to speak. Are you here? All right, you are here to speak about the casino development. You have 3 minutes. You may begin now. Mr. Scott, your time is ticking.
You're muted.
You're muted, yes.
Please unmute yourself. We may have to cede you your position. You don't want to go at the end, believe me. Okay. And just one thing, once we call you to speak, the timer will start. Unfortunately, if you don't unmute yourself, you lose your 3 minutes. It's all counted as part of your 3 minutes. So let's move on.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. All right, please, go ahead.
All right, thank you.
You have 2 minutes.
I understand. Several of our neighbors have submitted a statement regarding the location of a casino next to the United Nations, a symbol for world peace and world communication, not gambling and all that is implied with it. There are other locations proposed for gambling, 2 of them already approved, so that they ought to be given priority. And we urge that this location is simply not suited for the traffic, the automobile and other vehicular traffic that would be involved. So there are practical, pragmatic reasons this is not a good location. And there are symbolic reasons for our American democracy, a host to the United Nations, the nations of the world, to not be symbolized by a casino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We actually have a resolution in place against having the casino located in this particular location. All right, we're moving on to the Gramercy Park Hotel.
Okay, all right. The first of on the list, Arlene Harrison. Are you here, Arlene? Or are you online? Yes, Arlene is online. Arlene?
Your time is ticking. Please proceed.
And I'm president of the Gramercy Park Block Association. The major focus of our work for the past 35 years has been working with over 40 neighborhood buildings in addressing their quality of life concerns. Therefore, we were most grateful to the leadership of a newly formed group of neighbors for reaching out to us with concerns involving the redevelopment of the Gramercy Park Hotel. We met and are fully supportive of their commitment to working constructively with the developer to address and resolve their concerns. I believe we are all excited about the reopening of our beloved iconic hotel, which sadly has been shuttered for many years now, and we all want it to succeed. That being said, there are 3 elements in the current proposal that we all believe need to be addressed and resolved in a way that works for those who live here. 1, sidewalk cafe. 2, basement speakeasy. 3, rooftop bar. Sidewalk cafe. There is concern about the proposed size and hours of the sidewalk cafe. We understand any cafe will require a separate permit and public hearing, and we plan to raise concerns and work with our neighbors to address them when the time comes. Basement speakeasy. A 4 a.m. liquor license and removable furniture understandably raise concerns about potential night lifestyle use. Current plans are now open-ended, and do not preclude the use that could negatively impact on our neighbors. We strongly urge the developer to include stipulations in the liquor license that define a use consistent with a quiet luxury hotel in a residential neighborhood. Rooftop bar. The noise from the rooftop bar has for many years been a source of serious disruption to our neighbors, and especially for our neighbors directly across the street. Past operators blasted music late into the night, harming residents' quality of life in their own homes. We recommend a clear stipulation in the liquor license that the rooftop rollover should be closed by 10 p.m. nightly. In conclusion, these concerns go to the core of what it means to live in this community. For decades, families have built their lives here with the expectation that the peaceful residential character of Gramercy Park will be protected. The success of this project depends on whether our neighbors can continue to enjoy the quiet, safe community that we all have fought hard for to preserve. We stand firmly with our neighbors and believe these concerns must be fully addressed as essential conditions moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next on the list is Tyler Morse. Tyler, are you here? Please come up. Next on the list after that will be Vincent Parry and Valerie Fostery. So get ready.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. My name is Tyler Morse. I'm the developer of the Gramercy Park Hotel. We are thrilled to be bringing back an iconic building, a bing and bing, majestic building as a 5-star hotel. This is not going to be a nightclub. That is not our intention. Our intention is that our guests can sleep well at night and that you sleep well at night, because that makes me sleep well at night. That is the purpose of why we are here. We have gone out of our way over the past year and a half to work with the Gramercy Park Block Association. We meet with them weekly, on site, about all kinds of different issues, construction, trash, waste, and we think we've kept a very clean community. At our own cost, we put in an urban umbrella to make the sidewalk shed a lot better. Right? We are very interested in this community. We want to be a part of this community for a long time. We love the community. We are not here to create any problems. We have had many discussions, as CB6 asked us to, about a month ago, with the neighborhood association, with various neighbors. We heard your concerns. We listened to everything you had to say. We've made a lot of concessions. This may not be known to everybody, but we're happy to close the roll-up cover at 11 p.m. On the top level of the building. One of the concerns was about setting up a community group. So communication can transpire. We're happy to do that. We hired an acoustician at our expense, who is the preeminent acoustician in New York City. We're going to follow all of the recommendations of the acoustical report. On the sidewalk, we still have to get a Department of Transportation permit to occupy the sidewalk. So we want to table that. There's going to be another bite at this apple on the sidewalk. And we have a dozen liquor licenses in New York City and across the country, and we've never had issues. So we think that our track record speaks for ourselves. This is a 5-star hotel. I'm not aware of a Four Seasons hotel or a Crosby Street hotel or a Surrey hotel that's ever had alcohol violation issues. We are not creating a nightclub here. We are bringing back an iconic asset that is important to the community. And we stand by the licensing committee and their unanimous approval of our license application about a month ago. Let me just repeat. We got unanimous approval from Community Board 6, Liquor Licensing Committee. We worked very hard at that. We worked with the community. We talked about every issue with that board. They're all here, and we were very pleased to get that unanimous approval. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for listening, and we look forward to being part of the community.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the list is Vincent Parry. Vincent Parry.
Hi, my name is Vince Parry. I'm on the board of 60 Gramercy Park North, otherwise known as 21st Street. I was going to talk about the cafe outside, but I feel it totally necessary to address some of the comments from our last speaker. My knowledge, and we belong to the neighborhood working group, which represents 9 buildings in the community. All right, and that's over 1,000 residents. None of us were informed at all, either formally or by email, about the development of the hotel. Not one communication with, as far as I know, our 9 buildings, okay? As far as the licensing committee of the CB6, the truth is that they voted down the application to go back and insist on the hotel to enter into discussions with us. 20-19 was the vote. You can look at the minutes of those meetings. As far as this neighborly claim that the hotel is going to be a good neighbor, they haven't sought any input from our community. The neighborhood is very pro-hotel. We want the hotel. The hotel is not pro-neighborhood. Neighbors should talk to the people surrounding them. All right. We call for a resolution of objection so that we can have the time, the due diligence that we have been denied to enter into discussions with a mutually satisfying resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Valerie Bostori. Please come up. After that, it will be Sophie Pradere and David Gaines. All right, Ms. Bostori, you have 3 minutes now.
Okay. My name is Valerie Pastori. I'm on the board for Lexington, next door to the hotel. Of course, I'd like to thank the community board for listening to our concerns. And I want to ask you to pause any liquor license for the NCR or any other further development. I come to you in 3 capacities. As a 30-year, 30 neighbor of the hotel, a resident living there for 30 years, as a board member for 16 years on the board. So I have a deep institutional knowledge of how the Gramercy Park Hotel has interacted with their neighbors. And I have to agree with you, sir, that it has not been friendly. I also wanted to talk about our beautiful historic landmark neighborhood. It has very narrow streets and sidewalks with no through streets. The traffic, whether by foot or vehicle, is very difficult. Such a large-scale commercial venue, including Southern Nightclub, Rooftop Club until 4 a.m. and outdoor seating is not a safe environment for our neighborhood. My apartment faces the interior courtyard of the hotel. I've experienced firsthand the vibration, the noise, and the non-responsiveness of the hotel management to turn the music down. They have soundproofed hotel rooms, but they have not soundproofed residents adjoining their hotel. I also wanted to point out about the outdoor seating. We're on 23rd Street. The Department of Traffic has a sign up, no through traffic, because on many occasions, vehicles get jackknifed right on that corner. So it is not a safe way to put tables, and the noise level has not been addressed. I want to just maybe thank you again and ask you to please reconsider approving moving forward with any more development of the Gramercy Park Hotel, because they have not been communicating with their neighbors. The Gramercy Park Association, currently Harrison, is not the only member. We are adjacent to that hotel, and we have not been consulted in anything. And that seems like it's the same for 60 Gramercy, 7 Lex. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next on the list, Sophie Pradere, are we here? David Gaines, Robin Suttonberg.
You going early?
Is Sophie here? If she is not here, we'll move on. Okay, let's move on. David Gaines. Would you please wait for the microphone? Robin Suttonberg, are you here? Because you're next. Okay.
My name is David Gaines. I'm a resident of 39 Gramercy Park North. In the interest of time, and since it's being covered, I'll reserve my comments about the rooftop bar and about the sidewalk cafe. I have been a resident in my building for 29 years. And I will say that 2 years after we moved in at an annual meeting of our building, I stood and asked our president if anything could be done about the noise on Gramercy Park North. And he said, "You'll get used to it." I'm still waiting. So there we are, and now we have this project. I know that our developer says that this is not going to be a nightclub, but with 400 to 500 seats of entertainment and 200 rooms, the ratio of hospitality, entertainment to rooms is enormous, and it can't be viewed any other way. So I'll talk about traffic for just a moment. Traffic at the intersection is chronically heavy and often gridlocked. What is the plan for hundreds of vehicles needing access for drop off and standing zones all day and night. I'm not hearing anything about that. Residents already live with backups for blocks, blaring horns, cars routinely ignoring red lights at the corner, and emergency vehicles that cannot pass and sound their sirens into the night. With this project in mind, a full block of city bikes was installed directly across the street where a drop-off zone might have been created. What forethought is being applied for an intersection that is already on overload? Please protect our quality of life and scale the project back. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Robin Suttonberg, you are next. 3 minutes, beginning now.
I'm Robin Suttonberg, and I have resided at 39 Gramercy Park North for approximately 40 years. I am pleased that the Gramercy Park Hotel, which has been an eyesore since its closing 5 years ago, is reopening. However, my neighbors and I have concerns regarding the proposed public spaces. We are a quiet residential block, and 3 floors of bars, a private club, and especially outdoor seating are more than amenities to the hotel guests. These drinking establishments will significantly disturb the residential character of our neighborhood and present traffic safety and quality of life issues. My neighbors and I were unaware of the business affairs meeting which considered the hotel's liquor license. Had we known, we would have appeared to express our concerns and seek answers to the many questions we have, which apparently were not addressed or considered at the initial business affairs meeting. For example, there are 3 entities applying for 1 liquor license for the premises. What are the relationships and responsibilities among these entities? Are they all operating all areas of the requested 1 license, or are they each operating individual areas? Who do we complain to if there are problems? The plan shows sidewalk seating on the hotel perimeters on Lexington Avenue and Gramercy Park North, designated as of right, as within the lot lines of the hotel. Where are the lot lines? They were not included on the plans. What is the distance between the sidewalk seating and the curb? Will there be unobstructed pedestrian mobility? How does the license, excuse me? How do license holders intend to mitigate the noise from the sidewalk cafe, odors from food served outside, rodent and other pest infestation, and where will the patrons stand while waiting for a table on the street? There's 1 lane of southbound traffic in front of the hotel on Lexington Avenue and 1 lane of traffic westbound on Gramercy Park North. How does the hotel intend to handle cars, Ubers, and cabs obstructing emergency vehicles and traffic on both streets while dropping off and picking up patrons? The plans indicate that 3 bars can accommodate over 1,000 patrons, not including hotel guests. Yet why does the application indicate no plans for security? Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Next on the list is Nancy Bynum. Nancy Bynum, I believe you're online. You have
Yes.
3 minutes. You may begin now.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, my name is Nancy Bynum. I have been a resident at 60 Gramercy Park North for 27 years. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. First, I'd like to say that as close neighbors to the hotel, we're excited to see it come back to life, but there are a few elements of their plan that are of particular concern to me, my family, and my neighbors. First, I'd like to address the hotel's request for sidewalk dining and drinking on Lexington Avenue and Gramercy Park North. I venture to say that all of us who've chosen to live on these quiet streets have done so in part because they form a peaceful oasis in the heart of one of the busiest neighborhoods in Manhattan. Sidewalk seating will fundamentally diminish the quality of life for those of us living here. The noise, the obstruction of the sidewalk by tables, chairs, waiters, and hundreds of customers, the general commotion and the trash that come with sidewalk seating would without a doubt have a material adverse impact on those of us living on these blocks. It will also surely exacerbate an already serious rat problem. To my knowledge, sidewalk seating has never been allowed at this location in the hotel's 100+ year history. And the sidewalks are heavily used by families with strollers, senior citizens, dog walkers, and people with disabilities. There are two large sidewalk grates on Gramercy Park North, one placed closer to the building and the other closer to the street, that would force pedestrians either to walk on the grates, which if you're a dog walker, you know that's difficult, or be channeled onto narrow strips between the tables or along the edge. I strongly oppose sidewalk seating of any kind, shed or no shed, and of any capacity. Secondly, I understand that the current plan includes a rooftop club with live music, DJs, and service until 4 a.m., which I just don't think is appropriate for a residential area. I served on my buildings board for 18 years, and I know from my time as a board member that the noise from the rooftop bar in the hotel's earlier incarnation represented a serious hardship to neighbors in my building whose apartments are adjacent to the hotel. I don't have an issue with the rooftop bar per se, but I believe that it should operate in compliance with the city's noise code, which has a 10 p.m. curfew for outdoor spaces, not 11 p.m. as was stated by the owner. In conclusion, I ask that you consider a resolution of objection to this application tonight, taking into account the concerns of myself and the Gramercy neighborhood.
Thank you for your remarks. Next on the list, Oren.
And I just might note, we have 30 additional people who wish to speak on this topic. If anyone would like to consolidate their comments, we would greatly appreciate that. It is quite repetitive, and I think you have to assume that people here do understand. We might take a show of hands. Who here is against the application as it stands? Who is against the application as it stands in our resolution? So let's count.
Hard to hear.
Microphone.
I'd like to see a show of hands of those people here who are against our resolution as it currently stands.
Public?
This is just the public, please. Our members will vote later, so could we please count? I hope someone else is counting. We'll do online next.
12 online.
12 online with hands raised?
Yeah. Well, no,
Okay.
yeah, 12.
All right. And in the room? 27. So, actually, one of you didn't sign up to speak, because we have 38 more, coming up. But I hope you understand that this is going to be an extremely lengthy meeting if we have to go through everyone's comments, and they do tend to be repetitive. Is there someone who'd like to make a sort of general comment for the
I have a
group?
question.
Certainly.
Ask for a show of hands of those in favor.
I'm sorry. Yes, please. Let's have a show of hands for those in favor. 5. Okay.
What about online?
And online?
Community 6 and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you.
1, 2, 3,
I
4,
see
5, 6, 7,
8.
8. Okay. So, we can keep continuing with people's comments, but, I think it might, in the interest of time, it would be really helpful if we could move on. We are not voting on this until later in the evening. It will come up in our agenda. I think everyone saw the agenda.
Is here a separate point, not repeating whatever?
If you're not repeating the previous points, I think that would be welcomed.
Why don't we ask everyone to try to stick to 1 minute and not repeat?
It's still 38 minutes. I think it would be really helpful if we could consolidate, but we are a democracy. We'll certainly try and move forward. But I think everyone here sort of understands the positions. If you feel you have something that's to add to the conversation, please raise your hand and we'll let you speak.
Can we ask someone who's in favor to speak? We've only heard against.
Well, I think the people in favor have signed up.
Oh, they have. Did you count online as well yet?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
We have a total of 13 in favor and 38 against. So, all right, if you'd like to make, we have 3 additional people who want to speak, please come forward.
Madam Chair, probably one more last to do, I'll be very brief, and I want to make a point that has not been addressed yet, which is the question of the extent to which the current operator being tarnished by the sins of the past of the prior operator. And I think it's very important to be clear that that's not what's going on here. I'm perfectly willing to believe the good faith of the current operator, but the history says that the project is inherently problematic, and especially the roof deck, the code requires no unreasonable noise after 10 p.m. There's an offer 11. I believe that a cellist playing the Bach cello suite solo at 10:05 p.m. with the roof open would constitute unreasonable noise. Like it would wake me up. There's no doubt. It's very, very, very hard to not generate unreasonable noise from that location with that cover open. So it's not about the prior operator, it's about the inherent risk. And because of the inherent risk, this process is needed to ensure enforceable, credible mechanisms to address the concerns of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Gisela Macy. I also live in One Lights. I just wanted to make the point that let's assume for the sake of argument, MCR complied with all the posting notice requirements. We know the paperwork was filled out. We found that the committee did its due diligence, etc. Those things may all be true, but be that as it may, for a variety of reasons that aren't worth relitigating today, the community was underinformed and underengaged, so the community voice was not heard. And while it's understandable that the committee's frustrated and taking a step backward, and no one wants to waste the board and committee's time, it would be wrong nonetheless and create like bad incentives for the future if the proposal's approved simply by virtue of the developer's skill in staying under the radar in the early stages of development. Just because we didn't hear about it, now we're gonna be, it's gonna be swept, our concerns are gonna be swept aside. I don't think that makes sense.
Hi, I believe I was called as well.
He was the one that was next on the list.
Okay.
I've never spoken for only 1 minute in my life.
Let's try
it.
My biggest concerns are with the noise level of
the name and where.
how can a nightclub be allowed in this residential neighborhood? I would not remember Studio 54. The line enters were around the lot at all hours, even when the club was virtually empty, to give the illusion of massive demand. The noise from these lines was deafening. The best solution is not to allow a nightclub, and I thought, heard a little ambivalently, there will not be a nightclub, or it is not a nightclub. I'm not sure what that meant, but if it's true, that's terrific. But if it's approved for some god-awful reason, there must be enforceable restrictions, i.e. no one allowed outside except for coming and going, no entrance line, no smoking area. The decibel levels must be kept monitored and enforced to be within allowable limits. During the hotel's previous ownership, when the city prohibited smoking in bars, its patrons would come out on the sidewalk to smoke, and under the influence of alcohol, would talk and loud and laugh and well into the early morning, inhibiting all of us from sleeping. Thank you.
Building, where are you from?
What?
Where's your address? Name and where you live, so that.
Oh, I've been with Miller 40 years at One Lexington, 45, I'm sorry, moved in 1980.
Oh my God.
Hi, I believe
Do
I
we
was
have
called
any-
from online. Or Yerushalmi.
He was the one that was next.
Okay, please go ahead.
Hi, my
Your
name
2
is,
minutes
I'll
started
make it, yeah, I'll make it fast. My name is Ornir Shalmi. I live in Fort Lexington, the building adjacent to the hotel. my apartment faces the interior courtyard as well. Everyone's discussing the noise issue, which is absolutely correct. I just want to be a bit more specific, and that it is the bass that travels up from both the basement and the rooftop, which is on a different level of noise. It actually, as another neighbor's claimed, causes vibrations. All right. If you look at the actual study that was conducted by your quote unquote best in New York City, you will see in that report and the study, he had the same issues with the bass levels, with the speakers that are used. So when we say noise, it's noise and vibrations and bass. And I'll also second the traffic, both cab and Uber traffic, the loiterers that are smoking outside late at night. Again, we're all in favor of the hotel reopening. We love it, but it needs to be done respectfully and at hours that are respectful to this residential area. And I'll end with, I agree that frankly, it's an insult to give us such little notice to do our diligence and make our concerns communicated. Thank you so much.
Do we have anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay.
Cindy Muller, Speaker London at 60 Park North. We share the sidewalk with the hotel. I understood from Tyler Morse, that there is not going to be a dance club that serves 240 people. That is different than what we've been told. Is that in fact the statement of fact? That there is not going to be a dance club in the cellar that serves 240 people liquor? Can I get an answer to that, or?
This is not a trial, but I'm being impugned, my integrity is being eviscerated here, not a trial.
Which more satisfying, you don't have to answer my question, but it goes to my point. My point is that I live on the second floor of Gramercy Park, 60 Gramercy Park North. There are gonna be people smoking cigarettes. There are gonna be, what is your demographic for a dance club that serves 240 people liquor? It's probably 21 to 26 years old. We're gonna have people slamming 6 shots and then smoking cigarettes under my window. And I do not want that. I will not be able to sleep. The New York City noise law is 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. We want our neighborhood quiet from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. We don't want bumper to bumper, Ubers, Lyft, taxi cabs, blowing their horns under our windows at 4 a.m. when you dump 240 people out of the bar. And I think that's very fun.
Do we have anyone else who would like to speak? We'd like to move on if okay.
I'm here because what's being proposed for the Gramercy Park Hotel isn't just a liquor license. It isn't a speakeasy. It's not a nightclub. It's not a lounge. It's a mess. Mr. Morris's remarks and equivocations aside, MCR's TWO Hotel doesn't face these issues. It's in the middle of the airport, but their Highline Hotel is in the rental neighborhood. The following is based on public documents I'm happy to provide because the record still matters. The Landmarks Preservation Commission has in the past found that MCR has installed bars in areas without permit. He was found by Community Board 4 to be out of compliance with noise laws, possibly state liquor laws, and involves a year-long dispute over the meaning of the word music. This isn't about me or you or they or them. It's about how we organize our lives together, compromise, commitment, and community standards that work. We need earlier music cutoff times, a real plan for how people will move in and out of such a space, drastically reduce sidewalk cafes, and an impartial acoustic study, and a scale of use that fits the block and our human and canine community.
We'll have 3 people online who have requested to speak.
Edith Charlton, you're up next.
Go ahead.
My name is Edith Charlton, and I have lived at 60 Gramercy Park for 65 years. My building is part of the neighborhood working group. I strongly object to granting liquor licenses to MCR for use in their proposals for a roof garden open until 4 a.m., a speakeasy for 240 occupancy, outdoor dining, and other entertainment venues that MCR has proposed in the past. Except for the roof garden, these are all new venues requiring new liquor licenses. We are already surrounded by bars and restaurants on 3rd Avenue and Park Avenue South. I have also heard of a wine bar opening at 38 Gramercy Park, causing someone at your last liquor licensing meeting to call 21st Street a bar corridor if the hotel's massive outdoor dining is permitted. MCR has not involved our community at all regarding their plans for the hotel. No contact. That is difficult to understand since there is to be outdoor seating for 93 hours from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. I believe this new hotel will become more of an entertainment center than a residential hotel if liquor licenses are granted for the entire hotel, its interior and exterior, meaning 21st Street and Lexington Avenue. According to Samuel Ruggles' deed, Gramercy Park is the name of both a private park and surrounding neighborhood. Has this deed been studied by the board? Has the hotel's impact on our community been discussed regarding deliveries, noise, increased food traffic, and increased vehicle traffic at all hours, which our streets and sidewalks were not intended to handle? Our residential neighborhood will be greatly affected if all these liquor licenses requested are granted. In July of 1916, this neighborhood was proclaimed a residential district. Let's work to keep it that way, and I hope you will object to their applications. Thank you.
Next on the list is Susan Lindenauer. Ms. Lindenauer, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may begin now.
You can't speak if you're muted. Let's move on to Stephen Reed, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Just wait one moment.
Your time is started. Please proceed.
I am Susan Lindenauer. I am a resident of 45 Gramercy Park North for more than 50 years. I really love the community in which I live, and I really hope that the hotel, which was at one point a vibrant part of the community, can become one in the future. I look forward to being able to dine, as I have in the past, in the hotel, and I, in fact, used the rooms in the hotel to put up guests for my family for a number of occasions. I really hope that the hotel recognizes that it is located in a beautiful area that has some inhibiting factors, namely Lexington Avenue ends at Gramercy Park, and vehicles that travel on Lexington Avenue have to make a turn at a very narrow right-hand turn onto 21st Street. 21st Street at the same time is a through street used by traffic, general traffic, by trucks, and by also the police precinct, which is located 1 block away on 21st Street. This creates enormous traffic problems today. And if we had a outdoor cafe existing with those conditions, it would make it even far worse for the residents of the community and for the guests at the hotel. The traffic would be impeded by significant number of people being dropped off in cars, Ubers, or whatever. I really think that the hotel will be a wonderful addition to the community, but I think the notion of a large.
That's time.
Thank you.
cafe-
Thank you for your comments. I think we have one more person.
It looks like their hand has gone down.
Their hand's gone down. Do we have anyone here who'd like to speak in favor of the hotel? We've heard. Sir, go ahead.
Three minutes starting now.
I'm Alan Firestein, I'm the acoustic consultant for the hotel. I have the report that you guys have gotten, and I heard the comments that you made in the past and also tonight. And I agree with your concerns. I do a lot of work for people who are disturbed by noise, by bars, nightclubs, restaurants. I've been doing this for 49 years. The recommendations I made address bass, mid-range sound, and treble sounds. In my report, I have recommendations for how loud the sound systems can be and how they have to be locked and limited, both in the cellar, which is below grade and there's no direct entrance to the street, on the first floor, the second floor, and on the rooftop. I've addressed the roller cover, and I made recommendations for how loud the sound can be in all those locations with a lock limiter. I even put in my report a data sheet for the limiter that I usually recommend, which is very successfully implemented. And I also put in recommendations for how to lower the bass, so the bass is also locked at a low level. Too often, nightclubs, bars, especially rooftops, play music uncontrolled, unlimited. They don't have any clue as to how loud the sound should be. They disturb the neighbors. It causes liquor license problems, DEP violations. And unfortunately, DEP inspectors, as many of you know, are not really up to snuff in terms of dealing with these problems. So they really have to be started to be worked on right from the beginning. I worked for a number of years with Rich and Dykstra, DCA, in an attempt to make this a requirement for all bars and nightclubs, that they had to do a sound study and adhere to recommendations. So typically, what people do is they accept stipulations saying this will happen, this will be enforced, and will be monitored. So that's what I'm recommending. I put it in my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from anyone either before or after the meeting or during. Thank you.
I suggest that if you have questions for the acquisition, that it be done outside of our meeting, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have a comment that impacts his report. Can we make that quickly? I do not think his report takes into account the full capacity of the over 300 people that were going to be in the establishment. So we would ask that you look at that and that you disregard the report because it's not it may not be accurate, although we weren't
It's
there.
the same capacities as it was previously.
Yeah, let's please, we're not here to argue facts, please. Please. If you have questions for the acquisition, I think you can do it later. We've heard the information. I'm not sure there's much else we can do to help that. So is anyone else want to make a comment who has not already made a comment?
I'll be brief. I'm
Thank you.
David Johnson. I live at 1 Lexington. Neighborhood working group. Other people, Lee and others have adequately discussed the speakeasy concerns, the sidewalk dining concerns, the rooftop clusters. Concerns. But simply add on the traffic to, let's not forget that the 13th Street is a block away. It travels on that 21st Street, so that's still got to be included in traffic studies. I just wonder, given the fact the hotel's not gonna open for more than a year, why not a pause on the liquor license till everything that's here? It's been fully here. Thank you.
All right, can we move on, please? Sir, if you have brief comments? Well, you need the microphone, please, so people won't be able to hear you.
Or that when we were voting, or when you were recording our vote here, there were a number of hands raised back with the MCR group. And I think it's worth saying that, given this is only a room with so many people in it, and the proportion was drastically affected by people who were raising their hands in favor of a hotel. And I think a significant portion of the people in the room were hotel employees, I would assume.
And sir, I think we're taking that count more in terms of trying to limit the number of speakers. It's not an issue of like who's for or against. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we will move on to our next issue. I'm sorry. Do we have someone else who wanted to speak?
Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm a director at MCR. I'm in charge of design and programming for our independent hotels. I'm also married to Diana Morris. We've been married for almost 20 years. So we don't live in CP6, but we do live on 12th Street. So our neighbors a little bit to the south. We have 2 young daughters and we live in a busy neighborhood as well. So we very much understand your concerns. And it is my deepest hope that a year or 2 from now, we are all together and the Gramercy Park Hotel has been positive addition to your incredibly stressful neighborhood that we've loved getting to learn more about and being a part of. Over the last 2 years, we worked extensively with the Gramercy Park Block Association, which we understood to be an organization of 2,000 people that lived in the neighborhood. We attended Christmas tree lightings in the middle of Gramercy Park. Our children led the Halloween parade all around the perimeter of the park for the last 2 years running, and I really hope to do it again next year. So I just want to let you know that the kind of establishment we want to run is one that is family friendly. We're a family business. We are going to be there all the time. I'm sure you can also understand as a 5-star hotel, the last thing you would want is people standing outside at all hours of the day and making noise. That would not make for a great hotel, that's for sure. And we want it to be a great hotel. The property it was purpose-built as a hotel in 1925, and it's been a hotel all those years since. It's our intention to return it to something that is worthy of your neighborhood, that is the spirit and soul of the 1925 era in which it was built. And it's worthy, again, of the architecture and the soul of your neighborhood. You know, I hope that we'll have a chance to get to know each other more. I hope that we'll be able to show you the kind of hotel that we
The Gramercy Park Block Association does not.
Excuse me, sir, please. We have 2 other people who have raised their hands. If they have additional comments, please go ahead. Brian Manning. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Brian Manning. I'm a resident of 1 Lexington Avenue for almost 10 years, and I've consolidated my statement just to the 2 core issues that I have. The current proposal allowing for liquor to be served in multiple locations, including the outdoor dining area, could really become a noisy waiting spot for people waiting to get into the clubs and multiple venues and or leaving the speakeasies, main floor bars and everything else. Between this and the increased capacity across venues, it'll further exacerbate an already congested intersection, especially problematic for emergency vehicles. The other is the sound systems. There has to be a solution for lowering and sealing the roof or whatever needs to be done to comply with the New York City sound guidelines, which I believe are 10 p.m., not 11 a.m. As I mentioned before, The hotel is very personal to me. My wife and I were married there. We hosted colleagues and friends and everything there. And I'm an entrepreneur. I fully support a revitalized GPH in the neighborhood, but it has to fit the ethos of the neighborhood. So I'm hoping CB6 will take this into account and get it formally addressed by the developer before approving this application. Thank you.
All right, our last speaker is Stephen Reed.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Echo everything that everyone has said about the concerns about the neighborhood. I've lived in the neighborhood since the mid-90s. Since 2001, I've lived at 60 Gramercy Park North. The neighborhood is first and foremost a quiet one. My building happens to share a back courtyard with the hotel, and while everyone I know is generally welcoming and even excited about the hotel, we're all very upset to hear about the plans to potentially put in a bass thumping club literally right at our own back door, with further plans to clog the sidewalks with outdoor seating and the rooftop bar and music venue, right? So all that is good. I echo it. I've tried to condense this down. Living here, there were times where in the prior incarnation of the hotel, there were parties being held there or events or ceremonies. And when the bands or DJs were playing, it wasn't that it was super loud outside. It was, as somebody had pointed out, the bass thumping, shaking of the building was the thing that was most awful. Great to hear that the hotel is very concerned about our concerns and will not do that. But if something happens, and they do, and there's a change of ownership, and suddenly there is, there are people that come late night, and we want to keep the bars open and play loud music, there is no recourse then for anybody else in the neighborhood to be able to do anything about it. And that's the thing that concerns me the most. So I would strongly recommend that we disallow the current proposal from the hotel until there's more time to discuss what the controls could be around it. Thank you.
Okay, we actually do have one final person who would like to speak. Mr. Bernstein, who has.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Donald Bernstein. I'm Tyler's attorney in connection with this application. I've been doing this a long time. I hear these sorts of issues all the time. And as Alan Firestein said, some of the neighbors have some reasonable concerns about noise, and I understand that, but we can deal with it. What I don't appreciate, however, is the malignment of Tyler Morse. I think that is unfair. That should not be permitted in this meeting. Tyler, for a year and a half, has spoken to the Gramercy Park Block Association on a regular, I didn't laugh at your comments, so you have to give me my time to speak and not be rude.
Please continue.
He has spoken to this block association, had every reason to believe that this block association represented the community and had regular ongoing discussions with them, and also spoke to some people in other buildings. He presumably didn't speak to the people in this room, but did find out about the fact that they didn't work with the Block Association until we were here a month ago. And as you asked us to do last month, over the past few weeks, we have met with residents and we've spoken to them about these issues. So all of that stuff doesn't matter. Here we are today. We know what their issues are and we've addressed them. Some of the general issues, let me speak. Some of the general issues are the fact that this is a hotel. This is not like this was a vacant lot. This is not like there was a nail salon here and we're erecting this 20-story hotel. This has been a licensed hotel since 1933. For 90 years, this has been a licensed hotel. The building's not changing. It's the same building. Now, with respect to the issues that are of concern, we can address them. The rooftop, unlike Stephen Greenberg, a club operator, Ian Schrager, a club operator, A.B. Rosen, a real estate, Tyler has 150 hotels throughout the country. Do you know how many nightclubs he has? 0. Not a single one. Now, as Alan Firestein told you, and we commissioned him, we had to pay him a lot of money to do the study. Why did we do the study? Because we want to make sure noise is not going to be a problem. That's why. It's not for show. It's for real. He's the most honored and respected acoustician in the city. Still, people malign him and laugh at him, but he is. And as he said, he often represents residents if he believes and knows that they are right. Unlike all of the prior operators, we will have a roller cover that will close by 11 PM. And there is no law that says that you can't have people outside after 10. I don't know where people are getting it from. That is not correct. We will close it at 11 PM so that there will be no outdoor space and the rooftop. Excuse me, sir, stop talking.
Could you please be quiet and let him speak?
I don't think I interrupted any of the people that spoke before, so I deserve a little respect here. There will be no outdoor space in the rooftop after 11 PM. The outdoor seating on the, outside on the ground floor level, we are not applying for a sidewalk cafe. If we decide we want to have one next year, we'll come back, we'll go to DOT, we'll deal with that then. With respect to the cellar space, this is so great. There are no windows. We have agreed at the request of the neighbors that there will be no direct access onto the street.
We added a few seconds for the interruptions, but yes, it is time.
Great.
We hope that you support the resolution of your committee. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to our next issue. Please, we're not having questions. If you'd like to ask a question, you can.
He happened to speak last, this lawyer guy just happened to raise his hand as the very last.
This has to see.
Could you please calm down? We asked who else wanted to speak. There are no other raised hands of people. Is there anyone here who would like to speak who has not spoken already? Okay, then please go ahead.
I've been listening to all of you.
You need the microphone, please, sorry.
Hi, my name is Patricia Starr. I've been listening to all of you. I live in 7 Lexington for 35 years. I live in an apartment on Lex that faces the hotel. I've also been on my board for 20 years. So I think I've had a front row seat to every iteration of this hotel. I think, I hear everybody, but I think what NCR is missing is the tremendous increase in capacity. And living here, even in the old hotel with much less capacity, they didn't have the 240 seat speakeasy that they're proposing, no sidewalk seating. So even without that capacity, there were double parked idling cars, honking horns to all hours. Very difficulty for our residents our older residents who are handicapped with walkers. We have a lot of young families with strollers, almost impossible to park in front of our building and empty a car and fill up a car, and it affected our life greatly. And I think one of the big issues we'd like NCR to address is this tremendous increase in capacity. We feel that it is not, the traffic will be unacceptable. So I just wanted to make that as an additional point.
We'd like to move on. We do have one more person who has raised their hand. Do you really want to speak?
Holly Dando, you have 3 minutes starting now.
Sorry, I just had to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. My name's Holly Dando. I've lived at 60 Gramercy Park North for over 20 years. I moved here because it's a quiet and safe place to call home. I'm deeply concerned about the plans for the redevelopment of the hotel. While my concerns relate to noise, hours of operation and beyond, I want to talk about safety. I offer these comments as someone with mobility challenges that have required me to use a cane or a walker since 2022. The outdoor proposed for Lexington Avenue and Gramercy Park North is outsized, 93 seats, where there hasn't been a single sidewalk seat for 100 years. This will eat up the sidewalk and make the streets unpassable. I rely on both these streets in my daily living. 93 seats will eat up, repeat. It will be a public nuisance for people like me. Traffic will cease to a halt with the coming and going of this new venue. I believe it's best to avoid sidewalk dining overall at 21st and Lex. It will turn this corner into a street show of diners, servers, and others. It will block police vehicles from the 13th precinct from timely response to emergencies. I ask the community board to consider my clear objection to the proposed plan. It's not safe. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move on to our next issue. As you can see, time is running out for this meeting. We'd like to have we'd like to have maybe a show of hands for everyone here who's here for the 34th Street busway. Who is in, first, let's go with who is against the busway. We'll just have a show of hands. Against. Please keep your hands raised. Sorry. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And for those against, or those for, if you could please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And online, please.
Like 8,
8.
10,
10. So we have
8 again.
Oh,
it's gone.
Okay.
Can you make up your mind?
Yeah, so it would be really fantastic if we could have several people from each side represent what they'd like to say, and then we move forward.
Set your points.
Yeah. Would that be acceptable if we had, say, 3 people from each side?
No.
I think it would be acceptable.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna go, we'll start the list, but we cannot hear everybody. I hope people understand that.
Just on order,
Yeah,
if you as chair determine that the comments are repetitive or dilatory, you can.
is that in Robert's
Don't
rules?
rule and
Excellent,
shut
thank
them
you.
down. Please do so.
Let's-
Here, or I'm going to do this with you, and I think you're supposed to wait for them, or.
Robert.
Okay, and, you know, out of kindness, we will ask our high school students first. Okay, let's go ahead. Please come up. We don't know your name, but we'll cross you off the list as you,
No, start with your name and then you'll have 3 minutes,
okay.
but be brief. You can.
Where are you coming?
Hey, I'm August Boyd. I'm a member of Transportation Alternatives Youth Activist Committee.
My name's Chris and I'm also a member of the Transportation Alternatives Youth Activist Committee.
So we had gone over, I believe it's the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association's website and saw some of their complaints about the 34th Street busway. And we just wanted to go over a couple of those points and address them. So, one complaint was that DOT is saying that traffic is just disappearing. I believe that what they're saying is that with the 14th Street busway, people are transitioning their mode of travel as a result of this. With, less things for car traffic, people are moving to other modes of transit. We also heard a complaint about air and waste pollution. We believe that the 34th Street busway will help decrease this actually, because more people, like I said, will choose on the transit.
And some worry it'll displace traffic, but we've seen with the 14th Street busway that this simply doesn't happen. And local street travel times barely increase, and critically on 14th Street, bus speeds increased by as much as 24%. And the DOT is estimating a 15% speed increase on 13th Street, which is a significant improvement.
And on a personal note of 14th Street, I ride down 14D to school every day from Union Square down to Avenue D in Houston. And for the section where I get to go on the busway, bus speeds are significantly faster. And we also heard one complaint was that 34th Street is different because of the tunnel access on the other side. We wanted to point to 181st Street, which is also living a busway, where there's the George Washington Bridge to New Jersey, and we the Washington Bridge over to the Bronx on either side of it. And despite those similar connections to 34th Street, it's still improved commutes for over 42,000 bus riders. Or the 62 or 70% of unintended exposure users who take the bus. So a busway can still be successful even when it has, connections to over rivers on each side.
Yeah, and as an East Harlem resident, for many people in my community, accessing Midtown and other parts of the city often relies on like efficient bus connections, particularly on major crosstown streets like 34th. And when these buses get stuck in traffic, it directly impacts our ability to go to work, school, like, and extracurriculars, adding to like time and preparation in our day, so. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's have someone who's against the busway, please. Raise your hand. Who wants to speak? All right. This gentleman's speaker, will let him go. Oh, the one, I said the one in the back, sorry. Pardon me? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you for, speak. My name is Britt Smith. I live at 114 East 36th Street. I would just like to say that there's basically a lack of conclusive data available on the impact of this proposal. I ask that the board, the community board, or elected officials, please pause on voting for this project. I'm going to quote Rachel Eisenberg from last week's Department of Transportation on last week's June 2nd CB6 Transportation Committee meeting hosted on YouTube. At 27 minutes and 15 seconds, she said, quote, "Dynamic traffic modeling is currently incomplete. Studies are underway, and we will be able to provide you with the information and results of the studies and statistical analyses once they've been completed," end quote. How could you, as our elected officials, approve any project based on inconsistent, non-available data, especially one that will have a negative impact on the residents of our community 24 hours a day, 365 days a week? How can you draft a traffic management plan with non-existent data? Is there a traffic management plan? Has the health committee weighed in on the subject? And if so, what have they had to say, and why have we not been provided with that information? Have you, as our community representatives, held a community town hall meeting like the one that you did for the proposed casino? I'm not aware of one, and if there was one, when was it, and attended? When will you conduct a community survey, when will you conduct a community survey and engage the actual residents of the community with the impacts of this project? How can you calibrate the impact of this project on our community with incomplete data and non-existent data? How could you vote on a project that will impact our community with non-existent data? And what is the role of community board, particularly community board 6, if you do not listen to or engage with the community? Please do not undermine the trust that we have in you. Please do not vote on this proposal at this time. Wait for the data to come in. Thank you.
And sir, we're not actually elected officials, and we did not hold the town hall on the casino, just to clarify. Thank you.
You didn't tell us about.
Let's have somebody who's for the casino. I'd love the idea of doing, or somebody. No one in the room is.
No one's for the casino.
I'm sorry, let's have for the busway, and if you two gentlemen would like to come together, that would be fantastic. Okay.
Start with your name and then you'll have 3 minutes.
All right. My name is William Jeffries, lifelong Manhattanite. I lived here my entire life, and like the majority of Manhattan residents, I rely on buses and trains. I don't drive. I honestly don't intend to. One of the great things about this city is the fact that you can get bus and train service throughout most parts of the city that you need to get to. 34th Street is a really important part of that. Especially considering that there's no subway line there. Like the 34th Street crosstown that exists there now for transit riders is the only option. And when that gets stuck, that creates a massive flaw in the system at large. Most of the people on 34th Street who are using the avenue are taking transit. 80%, for that matter, of people who live in the area don't own cars, they are relying on mass transit. This is, in my opinion, the most obvious transportation solution you could do here. Like, this is, bus riders represent the vast majority of street users on 34th Street. And they're not people from far afield, these are people within the city, these are New Yorkers who use this day in, day out. If you do this bus rate proposal, it will have an immediate impact. It will, in the best possible way, it will be increasing trip times, as we saw with 14th Street, there will be ridership increases. There will be service boosts, and it's a no-brainer project to me. Like, this really needs to be done. Like, this needed to be done yesterday, honestly. Like, I've been on 34th Street crosstown buses that even with the bus lanes are still at a crawl because there simply isn't enough priority. So I heavily encourage the board to approve this project. The data already exists. The data is already there to support this. And I heavily encourage the board to support it as well, because this is an obvious thing to do. The fact that it's not done already shocks me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, community.
These two gentlemen are here. You'll have your turn next.
Thank you, Community Board 6, for letting me speak in favor of the 34th Street busway. I am Chris Sanders and I live on 35th Street, and I would like to patronize the 34th Street buses more than I currently do. 34th Street buses are painfully slow, constantly blocked by traffic. I like to use them to go to B&H, Hudson Yards, Hudson Path, and various other places on my 3rd Avenue. I have a few friends there, 1st Avenue also. And time is life. And a fast, efficient 34th Street busway would allow me to get a piece of my life back. I realize that some people in the community and outside the community would like to see Manhattan turned into a museum, but Manhattan is a museum. It's a city. A city is supposed to grow and change and evolve. And that has presented us with the data they've been collecting since October 2024. They stated that 99% of the cars coming through the area are not staying in the area. Only 1% of the cars actually are patronizing a destination in the area. And the proposed busway on 34th Street, it has to work because there is no L train. There, it doesn't have the luxuries that 14th Street has. It can't be blocked by traffic. I urge the Community Board 6 to give the people of New York City a piece of their life back and to join Community Boards 4 and 5, who both support the 34th Street busway. Thank you again, Community Board 6, for letting me speak. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Suri, you're up next, and then we're going to go to someone online.
Good evening, my name is David Seifman, I live in Raleigh Hill. If you ask me if I support 34th Street busway, of course I do. Why wouldn't you? We all want the buses to go more quickly. The real question is, as the other gentleman mentioned, do you support the 34th Street busway if it's going to send thousands of vehicles onto the side streets? Well, a lot of people say it won't, that it will be a duplicate of 14th Street. If that's true, that would be wonderful. Where is the data? Where is that traffic analysis that I just heard was done since October 2024 or June 2025? Discussing this without the data, I think is, putting the cart before the horse, like I knew exactly cliche. There are DOT says there are 28,000 people who use the 34th Street bus. There are 56,000 who live in Murray Hill who are gonna be impacted. There's 79,500 vehicles that go through the Midtown Tunnel every day. There aren't too many blocks where those vehicles can go. When you remove 34th, logic says that they're gonna go on 35th, 36th, 37th, 38th, 39th. They can't go on 40th, they can't go in the 40s because they're gonna hit Bryant Park or Grand Central. This is gonna have a real impact on our neighborhood. I can tell you because I see the traffic, the streets are already clogged. And I wish I were wrong. If it turns into 14th Street, that would be wonderful. We'd be celebrating. But why can't DOT give us those numbers? What is there to discuss before we know how the entire neighborhood may be decimated? Thank you for listening.
We're gonna go to someone online, someone who's in favor, please.
We'll start.
And again, if you agree with the previous speaker or someone who's spoken before, please make your comments short. We would appreciate that. We'll take whoever's there. Let's just keep going.
Daniel Sutton, 3 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. I support the 34th Street busway. I think it would improve Midtown traffic. It would increase bus speeds, reduce the traffic on the street, and it would make life easier for everybody that uses that corridor. So just like on 14th Street, there were a lot of predictions that terrible things would happen, and none of those things ended up happening. It just made everything better. So I support the busway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Dylan
Kennedy,
Kennedy.
you have 3 minutes beginning now.
Hi, my name is Dylan Kennedy, and I'm going to try and keep this brief for everyone. But I mostly just want to share that I've worked right by 34th, and I've worked right by 18th Street, and the busway just makes it a spectacularly calmer, more peaceful neighborhood. I never saw any of the traffic spillover that people warned about. And just my experience kind of working along both of those different streets has taught me that the busway makes it much more pleasant, much more faster for commuting, and just a much more pleasant, neighborly feel. With that, I'd also like to say, I very much like the idea of extending the 3rd Avenue redesign all the way down, as I'm often frequently traveling along that too and have friends in the neighborhood. But mostly from an element of just having a nice, more peaceful neighborhood with faster bus speeds. And from the experience we've learned from doing this to other similar streets, there isn't a traffic nightmare, and it just makes the neighborhood so much better. So that's why I urge you to support the busway. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move on to
Jessica Lavoie. Oh, let's move it. Jessica Lavoie, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Jessica Lavoie. I am a vice president of the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association and chair of its Quality of Life Committee. I'm here to express serious concern about this board considering to advance a 34th Street busway without proper community engagement or real data-driven planning. There's still no traffic management plan. Our side streets are already congested with tunnel traffic. This plan would only make it worse, adding pollution, noise, and safety risks. This will affect our most vulnerable, especially our seniors, kids, and people with disabilities. Our tunnel traffic will not magically disappear. This is not 14th Street. 34th is a major crosstown corridor, a direct link between 2 tunnels and an extension of I-495. You cannot copy and paste a plan meant for a completely different traffic pattern. Another important piece that is being overlooked, The MTA's own website shows that 34th Street buses, just looking at the most recent month of April, are only on average 0.3 miles per hour slower than the buses on 14th Street currently. Is that small gain worth the serious disruption? Also, why aren't we looking at the real issues on 34th? We need more buses. We need to enforce traffic rules, manage rideshare vehicles stopping in the lanes, and fix the bottlenecks caused by express buses turning at 6th Avenue. We really don't have enough buses on 34th Street. I take the bus every day. I have waited over 20 minutes for a bus only for it to take 9 minutes to get across town. This could easily be about service volume and not just speed. The community survey that was done, it wasn't even directed at residents. It was done by stopping random pedestrians. That is not meaningful input. It's not how you reflect a neighborhood's voice. The DOT has demonstrated that it is highly capable of effectively notifying the public. Whether it's street fairs or parades, they put up clear signage throughout the neighborhood. In some cases, entire blocks are lined with pink notices, drawing attention to these events. That level of visibility and outreach is missing here. Research must represent the full spectrum of community views. The city says that the traffic is already improved with congestion pricing. So why are we forcing a disruptive change now when the data we have points to progress? This process lacked transparency, planning, and balance between transit goals and neighborhood impact. We all do want better transit, but it must be done thoughtfully and responsibly. And I urge you not to move forward until there is real engagement, real data, and real solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next on the list is Charlie Todd. Charlie Todd, you have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Tonight, I'll be very brief. I know that there are so many speakers tonight. I am a resident of Community Board 4, which also includes 34th Street, but I frequently visit the whole 34th Street corridor, including the parts in CB6, to work, to shop, to access transit, and for doctor's appointments. And I just want to express my strong support for the busway proposal. The 14th Street busway is a huge success. I ride my bike on 13th Street and 12th Street all the time, and there's no spillover traffic. Those streets are also very calm. And I think we deserve the same on 34th Street. Unlike 14th Street, 34th Street does not have a subway underneath it. So the bus is all we got in terms of crosstown traffic. And I think it would be such a big improvement for the neighborhood and for Midtown Manhattan, both on the west side and the east side, to have us connected by this busway. I think it's time to prioritize pedestrians and transit users and not the minority of residents who use their personal cars to get around or use their personal cars to cut through from New Jersey to Long Island. As a father of 2 elementary school kids, I look forward to a safer 34th Street with a busway. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. Next on the list is David Lawrence. David Lawrence, you have 3 minutes.
I'm going to take just 30 seconds. I want to echo what Jessica outlined. The issue is not whether we want better bus service. The question is on what basis are the decisions going to be made? Are they going to be made on a fully informed basis with the necessary data, with the necessary planning, and with the overall quality of life? There is no question that the people who visit the neighborhood and the people who live in the neighborhood deserve better bus service. The question is, what are the best ways to achieve this? And I think Jessica did an excellent job in outlining alternatives as well as the need for the data. And just I'll conclude on this point. It is not a question of whether the city representatives have the data that the DOT has. The question is whether the DOT has actually obtained and analyzed sufficient data. And that is the missing gap here. And hopefully you will understand that as part of the fiduciary obligations to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the list is Paul Crickler. Mr. Crickler,
Yes.
3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Paul Crickler. I use the crosstown buses all the time. I think every major cross street up and down Manhattan, 14th, 23rd, 34th, 42nd, as far north and south as you can go, should be a busway like 14th Street. Imagine if you could live 5 or 6 blocks away from anywhere in Manhattan or a lot of Manhattan, you can guarantee to get across town in 10, 15 minutes. It would transform how tens or hundreds of thousands of people get across Manhattan, make it a nicer, quieter place. Which leads to the final thing I'd like to say. 14th Street, it'd be a nice, quieter place like 14th Street, which is much, much quieter now. I went down to 14th Street the weekend when it became the busway. The first thing I noticed was you could talk to someone, you still can across the street because cars don't drown out human conversation. And the second thing was there was no Carmageddon. Everyone was worried about this Carmageddon that didn't happen. And it seems like it's magic. The cars just disappeared away. And in a sort of sense, they did. I got to think afterwards, it's simply the opposite of when they widened the highway and more cars come to fill it, then you have to widen it again. That's the marginal user who's joining the race there. It works the other way around as well. It was the marginal users who stopped using it. And the same will happen again. It becomes a better place for everyone. So I'm strongly in support of this. I'll also speak for 10 seconds about Third Avenue, hugely in support, much safer. I would love it to be extended, love the wide bike lane, and love the offset crossing. Please can we though have concrete islands all the way up and down Third Avenue. Thank you very much.
Next is Miriam Fisher. Miriam Fisher, 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm from Community Board 4, which as I think you are doing a joint project with 4 and 5. One of the things I've been getting on the radar is as we improve the busways to think about the bus stops, which often have no seats and no shelter from inclement weather, from 95-degree heat, from snow. And Community Board 4 added it to their letter. I was probably the catalyst, but they are actually working on improving the bus stops in the district. And I wanted to, again, raise awareness to Community Board 6 to ask the DOT to examine the bus stops, shelters, seats, and include that in any request for the busway. Thank you.
We'll go back to in person. All right. Do we have people? We don't know from our list if you're in person or. But again,
Andrew Hyatt, are you in the room?
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go with Andrew Hyatt.
Well, thanks. So I live in Roy Hill. I live actually sort of equidistant between 14th and 34th. So I was involved also in the 14th Street discussions. It's the same thing because logically would have to go somewhere, but they do just disappear, and they did just disappear. I walked to work along, south of 14th Street. I don't see any real problems, and I kind of hope for that good situation to happen to 34th Street as well, which to my mind, 14th Street really increased the safety of that neighborhood for myself and for my family. And I think that's something that the residents of this neighborhood also would appreciate for them and their families. So I hope that we could consider that, even though it seems like the neighborhood will be flooded with cars, it's not just 14th Street, like anytime you do this kind of mitigation, the cars just choose, lots of people just choose to do something else. They'll take another one transport, they'll go somewhere else, whatever. So this happens, and it will happen again. I'm looking forward to what this does to the neighborhood. I think it's going to make it much, much better. Thank you.
Scott Rifkin, are you in the room? Scott Rifkin. Richard Hart, are you in the room?
He's online.
Okay. Richard Hart, 3 minutes.
Hi,
Or
how are
less.
you?
Or less, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, or less. My name is Richard Hart. Thanks for listening. I live on 35th Street between Park and Lexington, and I, like some others here, am very nervous about what this community board is thinking, and somewhat disheartened that it's thinking about this without any data whatsoever, because the Department of Transportation hasn't prepared anything. I mean, that's obvious. And I just want to cite for the committee one of the things it wrote in its most recent 2025 Statement of Community Needs. In this document, you write, traffic in CD6 is a major concern. We need a traffic study and action plan to understand how vehicular flow can improve. With major vehicular transit points like the 59th Street Bridge, Queen Midtown Tunnel, and FDR, plus sometimes all-day avenue and side street congestion, solutions need to be identified to allow better movement for private cars, buses, bikes, and pedestrians alike. By agreeing to this 34th Street busway without any of that data, it seems to me that there's really no way for you to meet your duty of care and duty to your constituents. I understand that there's a lot of magical thinking about how cars will just disappear, but if they don't, then it's the people that live in this neighborhood that will be impacted, not the bus riders or the bike riders that would like a slightly faster 34th Street corridor. So I would like the board to really think about understanding what the traffic implications are for a third of its community before agreeing to even vote on this. And the one final thing I will say is that traffic noise and air pollution models are not linear when things get very busy. In fact, traffic congestion eased only 12% in the congestion zone in New York, while noise complaints declined 67%. And I think you're going to put Murray Hill right back in that hot seat if you do this. And I'm hoping you really think carefully about waiting for the data, waiting for a traffic analysis that can be questioned and that can be discussed before moving forward with this proposal. Thank you.
All right, Lily Seidman Davis. Lily Seidman Davis, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, terrific. So while I fully support improved public transit and reduced congestion, this is not the answer. 34th Street is a critical east-west link between the Midtown and Lincoln tunnels. Closing it to private vehicles won't reduce congestion. It's simply displacing it. Traffic will flood into narrow residential streets, which are ill-equipped to handle the increase. This plan doesn't make traffic vanish, it shifts it. And when it gets repositioned into residential neighborhoods, it chips away at livability, safety, and community integrity. We deserve better than a solution that simply relocates the problem. This is not opposition to transit improvements, but to short-sighted planning that overlooks the real-world impact on residents. I urge city leaders to consider more balanced alternatives, initiate comprehensive traffic and environmental studies at a minimum. In addition, where's enforcement with ticketing cars that block bus lanes? Add more buses to address this. Think about under the subway system in terms of building something from that perspective. But please reconsider this plan. We all want a better city, but better must include everyone. Thank you for listening and considering the views of residents who call Murray Hill home.
Okay, 2 more.
Dana Friedman. Dana Friedman, you have 3 minutes.
Hi, how are you? My name is Dana Friedman. I live on 37th Street, which is one of the streets that exits out of the tunnel. I fully support the busway. I want to just get that out of the way. Everyone seems very concerned about the traffic, but I just, want to say that there's a tendency of people to always imagine the worst case scenario, and it actually never comes to fruition. We heard about it with congestion pricing. We heard about it with the 14th Street busway. We heard about it when they wanted to take the cars out of Central Park, when they want to take the cars out of Prospect Park. Everyone always cries wolf, and I hear people saying that they want more studies. I get the sense that people wouldn't even believe the studies if it showed, that there wouldn't be any difference. And I want to just end by saying that the heartbeat of the city is public transportation. And I feel like as a city, we have a responsibility to ensure that we have the best public transportation possible. And, there are times where, decades from now, where we all won't be here anymore living in Murray Hill. There'll be a community board that has turned over, 4 or 5 times, but there could be a legacy of a busway, a status quo, that we are, putting these programs into place that are going to benefit tens of thousands of people. And we should be supporting that and not impeding progress. Cities are about making progress, and we should do everything we can to move forward. Thank you, and I fully support the busway.
We have some more people who would like to speak in the room, but I highly recommend consolidating your comments, please. We're losing patience here. So I think we'll follow down through the list. We have a list here of people who've signed up.
Information, how many more people?
How many more people have we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And 2 online.
And 2 online.
It's dilatory, it's repetitive.
I do believe,
and it's dilatory. It's trying to fix
and
it.
unfortunately, we're losing time, but
So are we calling from the list, or are we calling from the list, or are we calling?
if people cannot
We
be
know how
repetitive,
both sides
please,
feel.
let's go ahead.
Nothing new was put
Who's
out.
next on the list?
Okay, on the list, Chris Sanders, is Chris Sanders in the room? Okay.
Okay,
Max McLaughlin, is Max in the room? Okay, John Noble, is John Noble in the room? Okay,
I'm basically in support of the busway and had nothing to add that, something to hurry.
okay, supports the busway.
thank you.
That's how to be brief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Samir Lavingia, are you in the room? Okay. Charlton D'Souza, are you in the room? Stacy Roush, are you in the room? Okay,
And here comes the microphone.
3 minutes or much less.
The other subject, everybody said where they lived, which would explain why they were interested in the subject. Lots of people getting up saying, I want the busway. Do you live here?
I live here as well.
Yes, we
We all live here. We all live here. I live here.
Sorry.
I live here.
Okay, let's please, let go.
Both buses, A and 34, every day. The bigger problem is we don't have enough of them. I sat and checked on rush hour in the morning, lunchtime, not after the afternoon, and rush hour at night. Comparing 34 and 34A, 14A and D, and even 23. They have 4 or 5 buses on the route in each direction at every single time I checked. We have 2. I have waited for the 34 bus at Park Avenue for 21 minutes to go to 10th Avenue. I don't know how much faster you want it to be. I got there in 10 minutes. I also looked at the MTA's website. Right now, the 34 bus clocks in at 5.9 miles an hour. Just so that you know, 14th Street, the A is 5.8 and the D is 6.1. So are we talking about a hair's breadth? No. Further, 23, which has none of this and doesn't close off to traffic, has also 4 or 5 buses, and it moves at 6.1. So, why are we trying to change something when what I think we really need is just more buses on our routes? I think we should wait, get more buses, and check back later after the data's in. Do not pass it now. Living on 36th Street, I know what traffic is. It goes into the tunnel. It comes from New Jersey going out to the island every day. It starts at 3 in the afternoon, and there are nights it goes until 10:30. The lights are red, And when they block Park Avenue, all you get is a lot of honking. I don't want that back. Further, congestion pricing. You're all saying that the cars are going away. Honey, New York is making an awful lot of money from it. I don't think they've gone anywhere.
Good timing, excellent timing, you're done. Thank you. Thank you. All right, who's next on our list? And please.
Okay, Kate F, they didn't give their last name. Kate F, are you in the room? 3 minutes. Yes, please. There you go.
Starting. That have not yet been brought up. And I'll be fast. First, most of the people in support of closing 34th Street to cars don't live in the East 30s.
Too loud, sorry.
We are not 14th Street. We have 2 tunnels. The people coming from Long Island, Jersey are never going to give up their cars. Not only that, I live on East 36th Street. I have a front row seat to all the traffic coming in and out of the tunnel every day at rush hour and in the evening. We cannot handle more traffic on these roads. We need 34th Street to handle some of the capacity. 34th Street has 5 lanes, 2 of which are bus lanes. Those 3 remaining lanes are very much necessary. I take the 34th Street bus very often. I rely on it a lot. And it's actually fast. I'm impressed with it. It takes 10 minutes to get from 3rd Avenue to Hudson Yards. What's not fast is waiting for the bus. We need more frequent buses on that street. The problem is not the car traffic. The problem is that the cars are in the bus lanes when they should not be. So we need traffic enforcement and we need buses to run more often. Not only that, closing off 34th Street to cars, which causes a lot of problems. We have hospitals there, we have medical facilities, we want cancer patients to have to walk around the corridor to find a taxi coming out of the cancer center. Like this is just not the best way to go about it. We all want faster buses, but this is not the solution. And the only way to get some real accurate data would be by actually doing this and seeing what happens. That's the only way to get real data. At that point, they have to undo it if it's not working out. And when we have ambulances and fire trucks and police cars trying to come down 36th Street for emergencies, trying to get through the traffic, the cars don't want to move out of the way. They're selfish. They don't move out of the way for an ambulance. Just think how much worse that's going to be when cars can't go down 34th. Then you have ambulances and police and fire trucks competing with both.
There's a mic problem. We can't hear anything.
We'll get to it.
I mean, it's not going to increase the bus speed by 15% and harming everybody in the neighborhood. It's not fair trade. Our interests need to be given much consideration than the interests of people in all of their neighborhoods. Because we're the ones that live here and we're the ones that would be impacted by this all day, every day.
Great, thank you, perfect timing. Exactly 3 minutes. And please, comments that have not been said before. Or, okay.
Next on the list, Aaron Cassidy, are you in the room, Aaron Cassidy?
There's something now wrong with the total mic system. We can't hear anything. Sandy broke up, you broke up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. I think what happens is the mic will, this mic will only register one voice at a time. So we'll try and keep everyone orderly and speaking just one at a time.
But the mic that the people are speaking on is really bad. We can't hear that either.
Okay. What we can do is
we'll ask people to come to the front.
Come to the front, yes.
Okay.
All right. Nikhil Srikumar in the room, please come up. And just waiting in the wings, Tessa Dunning, are you in the room? Tessa Dunning, okay, no. Alex Wong in the room?
Yes,
No, online, okay. All right, well.
Please go ahead.
Microphone.
No microphone or?
Just try and project.
Okay,
That might solve it.
Hi, I'm Nick Hill. I'm a member of the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association. Some of my fellow neighborhood association members have already talked. Just wanted to bring up some point just to address concerns about us as a neighborhood association. Our president wrote a letter opposing the current iteration of the bus proposal. I ride the M34 every day. I want a faster commute as well. We're not against it. We just don't want it to be a hasty process. And I also I think people have brought up about the data is already there. I'm not sure if you were there at the beginning of the meeting, but we were asking for the data and they said it was incomplete. So once the data is complete, we will believe if data is showing, and it's not just data, it's also simulation. Like I'm a data engineer at living. It's very easy to simulate traffic if you have all the data inputs. We live in a world of AI, and it's like if you gave me a week, I could do it myself. To be honest, it's not that hard to do. We have city funding. I don't see why everybody in this room is so hastily trying to push this proposal. And also, I kind of noticed that everybody's not to beat a horse, but everybody's talking about 14th Street. Obviously, the tunnel on both sides. This is all anecdotal data. I prefer to have actual data in terms of proposing it, and we can simulate that. We have all the data points we need, just it needs to be complete. And as at the beginning of the meeting, as it was stated, that's not been done yet. And once it's there, we can all reconvene again and actually go through the process. The main point is that the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association and the M34 bus riders, we want to be on the same page. Like we're all the same people. Like I take the bus every day, but I just don't want to do it in a hateful manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Jonathan Miles, are you in the room?
Wait, Alexander, we call it Alexander Wong.
Oh, Alexander Wong.
We've switched back to online?
Yeah. Go ahead, Alexander.
Sandy, use the mic.
Alexander,
3 minutes.
starting now.
He's unmuted.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I was on the wrong mic. Hi, my name is Alexander Wong. I'm a lifelong New Yorker, and I'm a resident of CB6 in Sutton Place. My family had a coffee shop on 34th Street for 2.5 years in 2017. So I know that area very well. I'm also a cyclist and a bus rider and a subway rider and a pedestrian, and I am strongly in support of the busway, and I don't think we should be not putting this forward because we think that we need to support drivers commuting through 34th Street from New Jersey to Long Island. And I use cycle across town a lot because I don't think that a lot of the 34th Street has the speed and capacity to bring me to work on time, and I have to avoid that kind of commute through 34th Street. And I think that I would really like to be able to use it, and I think that for people who are unable to bike and who need to rely on public transit, I think that this is a really powerful option. And so I'm strongly in support of the 34th Street busway. Thank you.
The person has already gone. Okay. Michael Depre. All right, can you come up here, please? After that will be Britt Smith.
Already spoken.
Already spoken. And after that will be Marshall Butt.
Hi everybody, so I live actually on 34th Street and 3rd Avenue, right by the tunnel. So I'd be actually one of the first impacted by busway. And I'm here to express my support for the busway. Yeah, some people say we're not 14th Street and we're not, that's fine, but that doesn't mean we're definitions. Just to say 34th Street doesn't work for anybody, not just for bus riders, for pedestrians, it doesn't even work for cars. So question to you, why should we maintain the status quo? That's it. And by the data, let's be clear. So the DOT collected data for more. And provided extensive data on key indicators. One key figure stands out: only 1% of vehicles had 34th Street as their final destination. So instead of designing for that 1%, let's focus on majority, the people who actually live, work, and go out this corridor every day for this neighborhood home, like me living on 34th Street and Third Avenue Vegetable. So I urge the community board to vote in favor of what the 90% need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like Marshall Budd is left. Kate Hetzer, are you in the room? Kate Hetzer, okay. Christopher. No, all right. Christopher Rosario, are you in the room? Okay. Drew Robertson, are you in the room? No, should we go online to that one?
One last.
Okay. Alex Ivanek, you have 3 minutes.
Or
Hello.
less, please.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much. My name is Alex Ivanek. I'm part of the family that owns Villa Brulia Restaurant on 34th Street between Park and Lexington Avenues. We've been there for close to 45 years, so we've seen 34th Street change over many decades. And my only concern is that the first time that I heard about this bus proposal as a business owner on the ground floor was when this was passed last week. So nobody came to any businesses or any people who live in the neighborhood, from what I know, to even let us know about this proposal. It was after the fact. And my biggest concern also is the fact that people keep saying 14th Street, it's so great, blah, blah, blah. But the difference with 34th Street is that we have two major tunnels, not one, but two. So we have to figure out how that will be diverted, how that will affect, and you need to get local people more. Like I said, we've been there a long time. And the first time I heard about this, nobody came to interview me. Nobody came to interview my neighboring business. And I think that this is important to get more data regarding the traffic patterns. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Who's next?
Okay, Drew Robertson, are you in the room? Samuel Peter Panuccio, are you in the room? Oh, yes, yes, you are. Okay.
Where's the mic?
Right here.
3
Thank you.
minutes.
My name is Pete Lucio. I live on 36th Street, Park Avenue. I'd like to welcome all our friends from Transall that are here tonight to voice their support. This is a sham. You people are responsible for the fact that none of this information was transmitted to the community. Found out about this. Transportation community, transportation was having a meeting tonight. That's on you people. That's something you need to address. So we're getting blindsided. They came on here last week and had a very well diagrammed, thought out plan for what they're going to do with 34th Street, but no statistics, they had nothing. Oh, well, it's in the works. That's not a good answer. I don't care if people say other things. You know what? Where is that report? You're talking about tens of thousands of cars that are getting diverted into the side street. The people from DOT don't even bother to get off their ass and come out and look what's going on over there right now. Major projects in 35th and Park, half the block, 36th and Madison also has major construction. Now, they add insult to injury, Keith Powers, who should be here, and he's not. He tweets the next day after the transportation board with their alleged vote last week. Keith Powers winds up tweeting, hey, here's a new idea. How about we shut Park Avenue down to one lane in each direction on both sides of Park Avenue? So we already have an untenable situation, and we're getting more and more ramped down our throats. If they could blow that past us, they would. You know what? Not gonna happen. People need to make noise. Enough of this. And I have a question for you people. Are there people on this community board that are actually members of Transportation Alternatives?
Yes or no?
You asking me?
Yes or no?
Oh, there's one who's on the Transportation Committee, who's in transportation, listed as an activist, okay? That's a problem.
Sir, why is that pertinent to this discussion?
You got an activist,
And.
you have an activist that voted last week. He voted last week on the
Please.
transportation committee. That is wrong.
Please give me the microphone.
Will you please stop pointing your finger
Please.
at our? Sit down.
Give me
She's
the
not
microphone.
talking to you. I'm speaking to her.
Please give me the microphone.
You're welcome.
Yes, and have a seat, sir. Thank you.
Okay, nobody wants to hear that though. Sit down.
Disrespectful.
You think the community's not bad?
Do we have anyone else? For this meeting?
We are the committee.
Don't get to treat people like shit just because you don't like.
Please, listen. Sit down. Sit down and be quiet, please. Jim, both of you, sit down. Please sit down. Please sit down. If we have anybody else who wants to speak, please, let's do it now. Well, let's move forward. Who's next on our list?
Next on the list, Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson.
No, he's here.
Okay, please come up. Brian Johnson is Johnson. Next on the list will be also Irma Rosenblatt.
Irma, please.
And then Emily Jacoby.
And again, brevity is much appreciated.
Absolutely. Okay, so my name is Irma. I've lived on East 32nd Street for the last 27 years. And my grandson attended the River School on 35th Street. So I'm a neighborhood person. I am in support of the 34th Street Busway.
We can't hear.
Okay, sorry. I've been a long-time resident, as I just said, and I'm a member of Families for Safe Streets.
Please put your mouth up to the mic. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Families for Safe Streets is a group of people who have lost loved ones to car crashes or survived crashes themselves. We fight for change to make our safe streets. I became a member of Families for Safe Streets in 2014 when my mother Ida was killed by a speeding SUV. She was a strong, empathetic person who was deeply involved in the community. She should be here today fighting amongst us, but it's not because our city prioritized the movement of cars over her safety. I know the pain, horror, and confusion caused by the trauma of loss stemming from a traffic crash, and I'm here today to ask for your support building this busway to improve the safety of this vital corridor for all its users. Since the implementation of the busway on 14th Street, injury-causing crashes have gone down by 42%, and 84% of seniors reported feeling safer on the streets than they did before the changes were made. These figures represent a remarkable improvement in safety, and I think our neighborhood deserves the same safety in addition to the speedier commutes we will experience with a busway. I do not like living in a community where I know my neighbors are not safe on our streets. Please support this common sense project that will improve our mobility and prevent life-altering trauma. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Emily Jacoby, are you still here? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Miles in the room, or are you online? Okay, well then like that, let's, I think we've gotten everyone in the room. Let's go online.
Oh,
What is your name? Kate F was over there. Okay,
they F who didn't, okay,
all right.
all right. Please, let's go online.
Okay, online, Brian Fromowitz. You have 3 minutes.
Or
Hey,
less.
Hey, yeah, I'll be quick. I just want to say that I work on 34th Street, and currently, if I need to get across town, I would take an Uber simply because that is the most efficient way to do so at the time. But if there was a busway, I would definitely be considering that as my priority option, and therefore, this would likely be taking cars off the road, which people are seemingly thinking that cars will only be diverted to the side streets. But in reality, I think a lot of cars will come off the road and people would choose to take the bus instead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samir Lavingia. 3 minutes.
Hi, thank you. I will also be brief. My name is Samir Lavingia. I'm a frequent rider of all the buses in New York City, including the M34. I'm also the vice chair of our transportation committee over at Community Board 5. And I'm asking that you support this project. I believe, and it has been shown that our voices as community boards are louder when we speak as one, which is the case, or why we even have this item is because we all wrote a letter together months ago asking the DOT to come and present a busway to us. So that way we could say, you know, this is a good idea. We're proactive, and that's why we're being rewarded with, you know, with this when we speak with one voice. I think it would be a shame to either not comment on it or to say no at this point. You know, if we are going to ask the DOT to do things and then they do, then we say, oh, just kidding, we don't actually want it. Why would they listen to us ever again? So I would really encourage you to sign on and support. And lastly, you know, if you don't weigh in on this item now, you're not going to have a chance because the implementation is supposed to be in summer of this year. And so I really encourage you to take the opportunity to weigh in today instead of not having a voice at all. Thank you.
Okay. Kate, I think you're the last person.
There's one more.
Oh, one
Jonathan-
more. Sorry,
Jonathan
sorry.
Jonathan Miles.
Come on up.
Kate.
We'll let
This
him-
is Jonathan Miles. I'm online, but I'll cede my time for, I'm looking to speak on another matter. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. I love a microphone. I also love going last. Okay, so 2 years ago, I bought my first home. It's a, thank you. Thank you. I'm a single lady. I did it all on my own. I don't need a man. It's a pull-up, which is really tough to get into. Yes, I'm very proud of myself. So I decided to get involved in my community. So that's what brings me here today. While I'm speaking on behalf of myself only, I'd be remiss not to mention that I'm also the secretary of the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association. Now, you might be, what does the secretary do? One of my main jobs is looking after the inbox. That means the emails of the people who are sad and complain and have things on their mind. It's me who has to answer. And I do it very lovingly, but I have to say, it's usually a very easy task. But this week, my volunteer position became a full-time job. I had to work from home today, just to get rid of all. The emails are all concerns from people about Murray Hill. They have nowhere else to voice their concerns, so they come to me. So these residents that I now personally connected with all week, they're confused about the busway, they have questions about the busway, they're opposed to the busway. You're a community board. So what I'm asking is, please represent the community and listen to the people who call this place home. Relieve the confusion, answer the questions, and oppose voting until more studies and community outreach are done. It will make my job a lot easier. Thank you.
Thank you. And actually, we do have. I think we have one last person, Jonathan Miles. Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Miles, 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm online. I'm primarily speaking on another item, so I'll cede my time on this one.
It's always the last meeting.
Are you for or against?
I am for the busway, strongly in support, and I take umbrage on behalf of all the other supporting citizens of Murray Hill that it's implied that there's not a strong presence in the room and online in favor.
Thank you. All right. Okay. No, you've already spoken.
We're done. We're done.
So
Sorry.
the minutes from the March 14th full board meeting were distributed to board members. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. If you object, raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the May 14th full board meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. My report, we are planning on getting together at the Sutton Place Park celebration for Manhattan Hinge, July 11th at 6. Watch your email. That's it. District Manager Jesus Perez will now give a report.
Waived.
Desmond will give our report, treasurer's report.
I'm gonna make it very short. You'll find the whole report in the minutes. But I just wanted to comment on two numbers for community board's budget for the fiscal year, and we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, was $612,004. We've encumbered already $400,048 and $421. So for the remaining month that we have left, we have about $20,000 left. We're looking at our personal services because the mayor did a cost of living. We don't have the funds for it yet. So this is a different year. We really will not be turning back money, but just covering our budget as it is. And the details will be in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. We've now arrived at our committee reports and resolutions. A reminder that the same rules stated at the beginning of the meeting apply. Members of the public, please note that during this section of the meeting, we only recognize questions from members of the board. So the digital ballot was sent to all members. Select your name, select your vote on each resolution that's presented. Don't submit it till the end of the meeting. Reminder that if you choose to abstain, that's usually a negative vote. The final vote counts will be announced after the second roll call. All right. If anything is unclear, please raise your hand and we can help. First up is Parks, Landmarks, and Cultural Affairs, Sarah Whittington.
Neil, I would just like to inform you all that the New York City Park pools are opening June 27th. That includes Astor Evening and maybe there.
Yes. Stu Desser, Chair of Public Safety and Sanitation.
Thanks, I was asked to consolidate my remarks, it's not my skill. But the resolution that we are presenting tonight is about discovery, which is essentially in this context, in criminal law, about the prosecutor giving the defendant the evidence that they possess. The rules of discovery are not trivial technicalities. They're not about the rights of criminals. It's about protecting innocent people.
His mic went out.
Evidence is what's most legal cases turn on, and if the process goes wrong, innocent people.
Hold it close.
Yeah. If the process goes wrong, innocent people end up basically in prison. So you end up creating additional victims. You have the victim of the original crime, now you have the victim of the state, and yet the actual perpetrator continues to go free. So it's very important that evidence be exchanged, and it's probably important that the process go right. In this resolution, we support a couple of proposals that are favored by the Manhattan District Attorney, which would make the system work better. And we oppose some amendments that were put forth by the governor, who apparently wants to buff her tough on crime credentials. But the proposals would foster some injustices. I just want to add that this is not a seat of the pants resolution. The committee met for 2 consecutive months with both the district attorney of Manhattan and the Legal Aid Society. They both presented forceful, passionate, intelligent remarks. We heard their arguments and we dug into this. So this is a complex issue and a considered decision. If anyone has questions, I will attempt to answer them. And if there's not, we can vote.
Okay, let's please mark your digital ballot. And while you're doing that, Stu's going to give his report.
Just, pardon me, just for clarity, can I move that we vote? Can I call the question?
Oh, sure. Call the question.
And can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Stu?
You have a report?
I waived it.
Oh, okay. All right. Next up, we have Business Affairs and Licensing. Anton Moeller is our chair.
Bundle?
Right, I make the call, the resolutions that came out of this meeting, meeting we had a couple weeks ago was more than 4 hours, so we're approaching 3 hours over here. Item A. Right? Item A. Resolution of objection for a new cannabis application for retail dispensary license for Danny Kogan. The committee had an objection because Mr. Kogan didn't involved to show up to make any presentation, and he didn't provide the paperwork. So if he's not interested in doing that, we're not interested in supporting his application. Do I have a resolution to?
Bundle?
Can we bundle?
No, just as it's by $400.
Okay, so
Call the question.
call the question. All right. So,
Okay, item B. Resolution. Sorry.
I think they want to bundle everything.
You can't, sorry, you can't.
Okay,
More like-
please. All right.
Item B, resolution in favor of cannabis NYC. The applicant did abide by all the rules from Cannabis Control Board, and the presentation was appropriate, and we filed a resolution of no objection for the cannabis application with the Yankee Club Corporation. I move the question.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Okay. Now, I like the motion CDP all the way to P. These are resolutions supporting sidewalk cafe applications for the restaurants indicated. We have no problems with them. They did support, they did provide us with their DOT applications, which are all appropriate. And as the DOT has requested, the resolutions we make are for approval, not for recommendation. So I'd like to move the question, 1, to bundle, and 2, to vote on those items through item P.
P. So C through P?
Yeah. Okay, Q, R, and S, I'd like to bundle also. These are modifications of their applications for the sidewalk cafes. We did not approve these without these modifications for sidewalk cafe for Google. We asked them to modify the schematic regarding their cellar door or the ugly coyote. We asked them to modify their application to indicate the correct sidewalk width so that there was clear pedestrian pathway. And for Cornerstone Cafe Tavern, same thing, modify their schematics for the DOT to recognize the exact width of the sidewalk. Do I hear? Call the question.
Second.
Okay.
Like the bundle. T, U, and V. These are all again sidewalk cafe applications. We had no issues with them, and we did recommend approval. Call the question.
Question.
Second.
Okay. All right, W and X. These are alterations requests for the liquor licenses since these two applicants have received information from the DOT to have sidewalk cafes. And in order to serve liquor, you must get an alteration from the SLA. We had no issues with that. I'd like to call the questions on WNX.
Oh, question.
Second.
Okay. Starting with Y through H. These are all liquor license requests, no application and temporary retail permits. We've reviewed every single one of them. None of them had any issues. None of them had any complaints on their premises, and they were all approved by the Business Affairs Committee. Would somebody call the question?
Call the question.
Second.
A, I'm sorry, Y, resolution of rejection. The new application temporary retail permit for wine and beer and cider license for 519 Third Avenue. This applicant was a no-show, did submit the questionnaire. And the committee felt that there was not enough interest to do that. We don't have enough interest to take their no objection. So we have checked their new application. Call the question. Okay. Last but not least, JJ, resolution regarding new application and temporary retail permit for on-premises liquor license for and for Gramercy Park Hotel. Now, obviously, we've heard a lot of speakers today for and against. We also have been in contact with both parties since the all met some weeks ago. And we've had some discussions at the amongst ourselves, and we do have a resolution that differs slightly from what we originally submitted to the board last month. And these changes are indicated in red on the proposed resolution. And given what we've heard tonight, for and against, I'd like to call the question to have the members of the board vote for this for or against.
Second.
We have one hand raised. Sandra?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was going to speak as a community member, but I realized I couldn't. I have various points, but I know we are exhausted. But one was really important. One of the ways we ended the discussion last time was that the developer was supposed to meet with the community members. They did not do that. They did not reach out to the community. And you would have as much as it was tonight, you'd have had an even much larger pushback against that. That was an act of bad faith. The person who said these folks act under the radar screen really struck me.
Please, let her finish.
Inaccurate.
We don't want to have that discussion. I just want to make the point. There was never a notice sent out to the community at all. Nobody in my building, which has like 40 apartments, has any idea of what's going on. That went in complete opposition to what we had decided was what these folks needed to do. That needs to be on the table so you understand that was duplicitous in my mind. They could have met with 5 people. They never reached out to the community. I want you folks to know that. Okay?
I think, I can help clarify this condition, which I believe that Sandra left off as saying that it was a very small portion of the community that was that met with the applicant.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they never reached out to the community. The deal was they were going to let the community know what was going on. They never did that, right?
And,
So they may have reached out to a couple people, but they never got, if you're going to talk about a community, and this is a community board, the community had a right to know what was going on, and they do not know. That's,
We're not allowed to speak. We're happy to speak. We're not allowed.
We're not, yes, we're not allowed to speak. We
Okay,
only take
yes.
questions and comments from people on the board. But I think we have to be clear that the applicant did believe they were talking to representatives of the community. It may not have been the full community according to some of our definitions, but I think they felt that they were reaching out as we requested.
okay, and
think we
I'm
have
saying that was, yeah, but I'm saying that
It did
my
not happen.
experience as a community member, that did not happen. And I
Okay.
feel that the community board needs to know that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Reappointed Community Board 6 member, and my first meeting was last month when this was.
Right.
I do recall there was accountability on both sides of the equation to meet separately, separate from the bulk meeting, separate from the full board. So I just want to make that be on record that that was the advice given, that we were hard pressed as a full board to vote on last month. And that was the accountability on both sides. So not just on the owner, it was also the community. So I just want to make sure that that is put in the notes.
And I believe you'll see that in our modification, we do acknowledge that there was, as we requested, there were meetings between what we understood to be the community and the applicant. All right, I think the question's been called.
Yes.
Please, let's vote on your ballot. While that's going on, Anton, do you have a report? And how many people on the June agenda? That's our next. Okay, next up we have Gabe Turso, who's the chair of the Land Use and Waterfront.
Okay, we have two quick, family-friendly, non-controversial. Phase 2 of the SDR is going to require the Patrick Brown Walk to be closed, so we are asking that some additional work be added to the scope of work. Patrick Brown Walk has kind of decayed trellises, uneven bricks, there's graffiti, there's missing trash cans, there's missing benches. We're asking for all that to be remedied and graffiti-free surfacing to be added. Any questions?
Nope.
Great.
Call the question, call the second. Okay, since there's no objection, we'll now vote on the resolution. Please mark your digital ballot. Okay.
We're asking to submit written testimony regarding the Freedom Plaza Casino, asking them to vastly expand the design scope of work and the environmental impact study. This is a more fleshed out version of verbal testimony that I already gave. We're going to have to challenge them on a number of points due to a larger environmental impact study. The original one only wanted to look at a quarter mile. We want them to incorporate socioeconomic conditions, including things like gambling addiction and the prevalence of pawn shops near casinos. We asked them to look much deeper into traffic. The original proposal was grossly inadequate, only looking at 11 intersections. We want to look at a lot of things, including access to First Avenue hospitals. We're concerned that their cooling method is going to be very disruptive to the East River ecosystem. We're worried about no leaks. There's a lot of interesting stuff. This resolution will give us the right to submit that testimony. Thank you. Any questions?
Call the question.
Second.
With my report.
Okay, please vote on the resolution and mark your digital ballot. Next up, we have Steve Perez, who is currently Vice Chair of Budget and Governmental Affairs.
Provide the resolutions, so I'm happy to answer this.
Okay. Seeing no questions.
Question.
Second.
All right, please vote on the resolution and mark your digital ballot. Okay, that's for both of the resolutions. Okay, and waiving the report. So next up, we're going to transportation, which is Jason Fromowitz, Chair.
Thank you. Our first resolution up, we are discussing the 34th Street busway. DOT presented to the committee a detailed data-driven plan to improve bus speeds on 34th Street. That would benefit 28,000 members of our community who ride the bus is on that street daily, and thousands of others who move across the corridor each day. We listened to many members of the community's feedback. No new information was raised today that was not raised previously during the committee. The committee voted unanimously to recommend that we move forward with this plan. I want to address a call from the public session to delay the decision. I believe we should consider the following in considering the speed at which this project moves forward. Number one, level of impact. Number two, degree of certainty for success. Number three, risk of inaction or delay. And number four, risk of getting it wrong. One, level of impact. There's a high level of impact. There are 28,000 community members who ride the bus on the corridor daily. There is no subway serving this corridor, and buses are the only way across town. Two, degree of certainty, also high. The 14th Street busway resulted in a 34% improvement in bus speeds and no negative impact to neighboring streets or businesses. No study or model can provide data with 100% certainty. Real world data such as this offers a high level of confidence and a higher level than any model can provide. Number three, risk of inaction. Also high, if we fail to act, we will continue to fail the 28,000 members of our community who ride the bus on 34th Street on buses that travel at 3 to 5 miles per hour during rush hour. We will also continue to fail to meet the needs of others who would take the bus, but now walk or take taxis or drive due to unreliable and slow bus service. And number four, risk of getting it wrong. This is low. The proposed bus bay will be able to be quickly implemented and at low cost. Its implementation will be primarily paint and street signs. If the project is a failure unexpectedly, despite the available data that we have, it can be easily reversed. And thank you. I will take questions.
Rich,
I have the mic.
yep.
I'm just going to speak about this, that I think I'm going to ask the permission of the group to call a question at this point.
Second. Great. Okay. Seeing, if there's no objection, we will now vote on the resolution. Please mark your digital ballot.
There is objection.
Oh, sorry. The question was called and seconded.
No, I objected. I object the whole plan.
I'm sorry, you want to.
Can I lend a comment? Can I lend a comment? Please?
Sure, we'll let you comment and then we'll vote.
Okay, great. Okay, so I just want to mention, watching this meeting last week, the community did not have a chance at all because your minds were made up before the meeting even began. And again, when did you reach out to the committee? When did you reach out to the community? When did the agency reach out to the community? When did the electives reach out to the community? As per the DOT, you know, Rachel's own words, 34th Street is not like 14th Street. It is very unique and it is a very important corridor. They're still monitoring to see if this would work. Data that should have been provided at this juncture still unanswered. But really what I'm concerned about mostly is the optics of your committee, that it doesn't look good. The way you manipulated and rushed through the meeting, rushed through the resolution to get this to the full board meeting before the break, before the community engagement, before the community had a chance to do due diligence, before research is complete. So it begs the question, what is the role of the community board when you have not engaged in the community? So this whole manipulative meeting that you had last week really begs the question. So, it does not look good on Community Board 6. And so I ask that people reconsider this until we have more information, please. I'm not against faster transportation from one end to the other, but this is clearly a rush job and it does not look good on us. Thank you.
Well, and we have Liz Burr also has her hand up.
Yeah, I just had a couple of questions. It was mostly about on the report from the DOT, they mentioned that there'll be a traffic analysis report that will handle dynamic traffic modeling. And so I don't know if we know an ETA or did they already deliver that to us, because it just said they would provide us results when it's done, but I don't.
And we've been speaking with the DOT and they let us know that there will be a report, they assume by the end of the month, and that they will make a separate presentation to the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association that we are able to attend as well.
Okay.
But there will be a specific presentation made to the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association.
Okay, thank you.
And Jason, you'd like to respond to?
Just very briefly, so we've been discussing the 34th Street busway for at least a year. In June 2024, we first passed a resolution asking for a busway on 34th Street. Several months ago, we passed a resolution unanimously as the board approving DOT's, asking specifically for a busway after DOT presented a number of options for 34th Street. So there was ample opportunity for the community and the community board to object. There has no objection there was one vote in objection to the first resolution we passed. The second resolution passed unanimously. No members of the community came to any of our committee meetings prior to the last week to object to the busway. There was extensive opportunity for public comment.
Right. And you're still lacking a ton of data that you don't have. And they even admitted it themselves. It's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's not conclusive that it even works.
Sure, all that's good.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear what you were saying, Michael. And do you have a question?
No, I was just saying that, you know, you make these decisions on inconclusive analytics that they've admitted they do not have. It's ongoing work. You had a briefing in March and you decided to do this. I mean, you're not talking to the people that live right in Murray Hill. You're not talking to them. Obviously, because people have spoken about that and missing this information.
So Sandy, the question has been called.
This massive project that you're making a decision on. Anyway, I'm done.
Thank you, Michael Ann, for your comments, and we will proceed to vote. The question has been called. Okay.
Moving on to the next item on the agenda for transportation. The next is a proposal from the Department of Transportation to implement a double busway on the southern portion of Madison Avenue. TJ has only, I think, 3 or 4 blocks of jurisdiction on 34th Street. We saw the presentation from DFP and we recommend it.
Washington.
Yeah, we're here with the Washington Urban Educate.
I apologize. I won't repeat myself on the other one next. Okay, so we also have an open street on Irving Place. This is a open street that existed for the last 4 years. We're recommending that we continue to allow the open street.
Call the question.
All right. We'll now vote on the resolution. Please mark your digital ballot. All right. Next up is the implementation of a double bus lane on Madison Avenue between East 23rd Street and East 42nd Street. Calling the question. All right, please. Second, let's proceed to vote. This is the next one is the complete street redesign of 3rd Avenue.
Lastly, from transportation, we have a resolution requesting that the city council passes legislation to require.
Wait.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I apologize.
I'm not sure everybody's clear. The resolution in support of a complete street redesign on 3rd Avenue from 24th Street to 59th Street in Manhattan.
We have been asking for a bike lane on 3rd Avenue for many years. We commissioned the study asking for a bike lane on 3rd Avenue. DOT has finally presented a bike lane for 3rd Avenue within our district. It's a continuation of the bike lane on 3rd Avenue that exists on the Upper East Side, just outside of our district. And are there any questions?
Call question. Second.
And unfortunately, Jonathan Miles, who was very kindly ceding his time, actually wanted to talk about this next issue. So if we don't mind, we'd like to give him his 3 minutes. Jonathan, please go ahead.
Thanks very much to everybody for permitting me the time here. And I know it's been a long meeting, so I'll give the very brief version of it. I'm a lawyer, a cyclist, and a pedestrian in District 6, and I'm speaking in favor of the resolution calling upon the New York City Council to enact legislation to mandate that cyclist traffic violations be treated as non-criminal summons. I share the frustration with cyclists traveling in the wrong direction, riding on sidewalks, and running red lights. They're all behaviors that obstruct others that have the right of way. But criminalization is not the answer. Proper enforcement and tickets is the answer. A few supporting facts. First, e-bikes cause less than 0.5% of pedestrian injuries. Second, criminalization would expose a vulnerable New York City worker population to ICE enforcement, which we've seen recently at judicial hearings and even naturalization proceedings. And lastly, criminalization would pull police attention from the causes of 99.5% of pedestrian injuries, as well as other public safety concerns, as criminal matters require more police time than simple traffic citations. Police should be focused on true risk to safety and more significant nuisances like illegally parked cars blocking traffic and blocking visibility, as well as the enforcement of traffic to keep car traffic flowing in our busy intersections in this district. Thanks very much.
Yes, all right. If it's, have we called this question yet?
Call the question.
Thank you. Please mark your ballots. Thank you. All right. Health and Environment, Rupa Kakad Chair.
I'm gonna make it really, really brief. We have a meeting tomorrow. At the start of the meeting, you heard from Bellevue. Tomorrow, we're gonna hear from MSBI, about the new urgent care center that they've opened up, and that's it.
Great, thank you. Housing and Homelessness, Malik Militeki's waving up here. Youth and Education, John Keller. John Keller's waving as well. Board members, if you have any old or new business to state, please raise your hand.
Submit your ballots, please.
All right, and then Justin will conduct the second roll call.
I think you should inform the public that we have an extensive website. Every committee meeting, every committee agenda.
David once. Yeah,
We got you.
David was.
We see you online, David.
Oh, David.
You hear us?
Which David? I'm here.
David Woods.
Oh no, David Levy's here.
David Woods is here as an attendee.
Okay, we'll get to him later then. He's having difficulties.
I'm here.
David Woods.
Still here.
Sarah.
Okay.
James Sierra. Cal Valero. Gabriel Terso. Mark Thompson.
Present.
Letty Simon.
Present, does somebody want to take my vote, Brendan?
Yes,
Yeah.
I will.
Excuse me, it's Larry Shire. I couldn't unmute. I'm here.
We haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh, okay. It's
We're
hard
going
to
back.
hear.
Brendan,
Yes?
you ready?
Yep.
Okay, on number 2, A, abstain. On 3, on bulk, A is yes, B is no, and from C to double J is yes.
Okay.
Okay, land use, A and B, yes.
Okay.
On business and government affairs, A is no, B is abstain. And on transportation, A is abstain, B is yes, C and D are abstain, and E is no.
So C and D are abstain, correct? And E is no?
yes, correct. A is abstain, B is yes, C and D are abstain, and E is no.
Okay, I will work on submitting your ballot.
Thank you. Okay, so we don't
Thank you, Lenny.
delay.
Naveen Siddiqui,
Present.
Sandra Shaw,
Not here.
Absent.
Ann Sullivan, not
Absent.
here. Laura Shire,
I'm here and I'm happy to report that they're gonna discharge me tonight. So, I'll be back with the living.
Feel better, Larry.
Better, Larry.
Thank you so much. Wish I could have been there.
here. Michael Monroe,
Here.
Marion Rao,
She stepped out.
okay.
Come back.
Omar Qureshi,
Not here.
Will Perry, Stephen Perez, Rajna Patel,
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe,
Not here. Not here.
Richard Miz,
Present.
Alec Militant,
Here.
Sandra McKee,
Present.
Anton Allner,
Present.
David Levy,
Present.
Sandra Lethal,
Here.
Katie Landa,
Present.
Nadine Kalani,
Not here.
Absent.
Kate Kennedy, Sean Keller, Rupal Kakad,
Here.
Paige Judge,
Present.
Rabia Akol,
Present.
Gloria Page,
Present.
Justin Goldberg, present. Eric Goldberg,
Present.
Jason Bromwitz,
Present.
Barack Friedman,
Present.
Robert Fairfield,
Not here.
Maya Donahue, Beatrice Disman,
Present.
Stuart Dessner,
I'm here.
Jim Collins,
Yeah.
Liz Berg,
Present.
Daniel Bernstein,
Present.
Elvie Barroso,
Not here.
Martin Barrett,
Not here.
Neil Barclay,
Not here.
Violet Hyde.
And Miriam is back.
Present.
Yeah, no, it's back.
Yes, I'm back.
Anya,
Rania Arias.
Anya Arias,
Present till the bitter end.
And, okay. Just before we read out the results, I did want to let everyone to know that we do have a website that announces all of our meetings. We do send out a blast, and if you are on our email list, there is something that goes out once a week that announces meetings and the agendas. So I highly recommend everybody sign up for our email. And then you'll be, made aware of any of these meetings that you feel are important.
The agenda is always there.
The agenda is online. We post it ahead.
And it's in the emails.
And it's in the emails.
And it's in the newsletters. In full.
Written by
But-
fantastic staff.
But we are glad that so many people have participated, and it's good to know that, voices feel they can come and speak to us. Okay,
We're tallying up. I presume you don't want me to hear, you don't want me to cite almost 50 different resos. So I'm going to summarize them all. Few more seconds.
it's cold up here. I just want you.
For those who are interested, yes. Here.
All of the resos up to 3JJ pass.
3JJ was the Gramercy Park one. It passed 29 in favor, 8 opposed, 4 abstentions. All the other bulk resolutions passed overwhelmingly.
You're echoing, I'm sorry.
All the other bulk resolutions passed overwhelmingly. As far as every other resolution, all the budget resolutions passed. Transportation, the one that was the 34th Street busway, that passed 31 in favor, 5 opposed, 5 abstentions. Every other transportation resolution passed overwhelmingly, so everything passed tonight.
I do want to reiterate that the DOT did say that they would meet with the Murray Hill Neighborhood Association. So before this gets implemented, you will have your chance to speak with the DOT and look at any data that they have.
And sign up for the website so they get the email.
And please sign up for the website so that you'll know at any of the upcoming meetings. Thank you. Oh, seeing no objections, the meeting is adjourned at 10:24.